Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the chess.com Global Chess Championship, focusing on the Indian encounters. And today it's going to be an exciting day. We had a thriller of a contest yesterday involving Nihal, and it's going to be twice as good today because there's going to be two matches. Vishy Anand, the five-time world champion, will be playing against Pavel and another legend, Vasilin Topalov, will face the Indian super kid Raunak Sadhwani. I'm here joined by international master Soumya Swaminathan. Hi, Soumya. What's up?
Hi Srinath, what a fantastic matchup we have lined up for us today. Hello chat, how are you doing? Yesterday was amazing. We enjoyed it so much. We enjoyed Nihal's victory. We enjoyed all the thrill of the Armageddon as well. And today we have these two amazing lineups. I'm so excited to be commentating on two games of world champions today. Former world champions and Ronak getting a chance to play one of them today. What a day it's going to be. I'm really excited. What do you think are the chances? Let's make some predictions.
Uh, I think it's going to be two Indian wins, 2-0 for India. I'm very optimistic about it. Chat, what do you think? What are your thoughts? And Soumya, what do you think? How optimistic are you?
I'm feeling before I reveal what I'm feeling, I really want to ask the first question of the day for our chat. It's going to be a giveaway of a diamond membership if you guys get this right. What is going to be the score of both the matches today? In whose favor? Who's gonna go through? Let's make some predictions, chat. Let's go.
Awesome. Let's make some predictions. And I have I have a bit of a trivia of my own as well. And Swami, you would think in a matchup between Vishy against most people in the world, Vishy would start as a favorite, especially against an opponent who's below 2700, someone like Pavel-Ponkratov. But they have faced off twice, with Vishy having the white pieces in both the games. And Vishy has, in fact, lost one of those games with the white pieces. And which opening was it in which Vishy lost with the white pieces in their previous encounter? This is also another trivia, and the first person will get rewarded.
Okay.
First person with the right answer.
Wow, I'm gonna take a guess here because I also don't know. Though I think it could be the Catalan since Srinath is hinting towards it. You know, Srinath loves that. That's my guess. Let's see what chat thinks.
Yeah, let's see what chat thinks. I'm not going to give much away because of the stakes involved. Big stakes involved. A diamond membership, a chess player's best friend. And let's see how knowledgeable the chat is.
Definitely. And while we wait for the chat to give it some answers, before the stream started, I was talking to Srinath about being his experience of being a coach, and it was interesting for us to note that he has actually been in the role of a coach of all the six players playing in this event, all the six Indian players in some capacity or the other. So I'm really keen to take this discussion into our stream right now. And Srinath, please, can you tell us, have you worked with Vishy before? Have you worked with Raunak, and how has been your experience?
So I had a brief working with Vishy during the online Olympiads. That's the extent of my interaction with Vishy. And I was unofficially the coach of the 2020 team, where I was taking care of a lot of things. And I think that was mainly the only interaction. 2021, yes, I was officially the coach then, but I had a lot of help, and there was not a lot of direct interaction between I and Vishy in terms of him as a player in the team. But 2020 online Olympiad, yes, I think we had quite a bit of discussions, interactions, and it's incredible talking with Vishy in general, especially face to face. He's just so incredibly fast. It's almost like I feel like a Pentium 4 processor when I'm talking with Vishy, and he's like all this, the recent processors, the level of difference in processing speed is so much. He so quickly goes from one position to another, and it just takes me like 20 seconds to just even grasp sometimes what he's talking about. And don't tell him, but most of the times I just pretend to just understand whatever he's saying. I'm like, oh yeah, right, yes. Even sometimes when I have no clue what he's talking about, he's the fastest person I've seen discussing chess, the fastest in my experience. And with Raunak, I have had a few sessions on and off. I worked with him a bit in 2020 and 2021 lockdown. After that, I haven't spent a lot of time with him, and he has worked with a lot of other coaches as well. But excited. Raunak is also incredibly fast. And today, I think there's going to be a lot of fast paced action. It's not going to be like Nihal's matchup yesterday. I don't expect the bullet scramble happening today.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, Vishy, of course, was known as the lightning kid while he was, coming into the picture in his teens. And he's still very, very fast. But it's actually one of those rare occasions where Vishy is playing in an online tournament. I haven't seen him participate in many of these. So it's going to be the first time actually for me to commentate on one of his matches. And I'm really, but I know for a fact that even though he doesn't play much online, he does play a lot with a lot of blitz. Even now, even though you know. Even in during the lockdown, I'm aware that he played a lot of training games with all the Chennai kids and enjoyed it a lot. So I'm really keen to see this match as well as Raunak, because Raunak, of course, everyone knows he's been crushing it in the title Tuesdays since 2020. In fact, he's been doing so well in all the online championships. So both of them, both of these matches are going to be really fun. By the way, important announcement from Rakesh that membership winners, please contact him at rakesh@chess.com for your prizes. Yes, very, very important. Even yesterday's winners, please do contact him with your ID, Chesscom ID, so that you can be rewarded with a diamond membership.
Absolutely. And French defense is the correct answer. And in my screen, I see Himanshu Bisht, who's the first person to make the right answer.
Wow. Wow. Congratulations, Himanshu. Well done. So we've got the first winner of the day for a diamond membership with us, Himanshu. Another question which we asked earlier was to make your predictions for the match. And yeah, my prediction would be, I would say 3-1 in Vishy's favor, and 2.5, 1.5 with Raunak.
Right.
Or maybe two, or maybe I think, no, sorry, I'll take that back. I think Raunak's match is going to go into the Armageddon. And yeah, then maybe we are hoping that Raunak goes through. So yeah, it will be 3-2.
Interesting. Interesting. Meanwhile, the games haven't yet started, but chat is really smart. And in case you're wondering where the chess moves are coming from, we do have the match between Anish and Ju Angel, which has begun. And that is the only game which is going on right now. So you're probably hearing sounds from that that game which is happening right now. Yeah, there we have it. Anish with the white pieces against Ju and Jun. So this is also going to be an exciting contest, Soumya. Do we rephrase now? Is it still only 2 Indian games, or we have 3 Indian matchups going?
We are, of course, always supporting Anish. So yeah, we can definitely follow this game in between the matches. We can definitely have a look at this game as well, time to time. Wow. And Benjun, by the way, there are only 2 female players playing in this event. One is Women's World Champion Ju Wenjun, who is Anish's opponent here, and the other one is Hu Yifan, the number one women's chess player as per rankings. So yeah, two female participants in this tournament vying for the 1.6 crore first prize.
Yeah, and what do you think is happening right now, Soumya? Although we had a 4:30 scheduled start, I think it's taking a bit of time for people to get their settings in. And I do remember this was one of the most challenging aspects in the online Olympiad as well. And Vishy in particular would, just get a bit nervous about setting up cameras and stuff, setting one camera in front, the side angle camera, the second camera. So I think his biggest challenge towards this match is to just get his settings right, and uh, the game will be, I think, only the secondary challenge. The chess part will be the easier part for Vishy.
And
Meanwhile,
by the way,
chat is saying, yeah,
Topalov's game has started against Raunak, so maybe we can have a look at that.
yeah. Let me
They
just
actually
bring
played
that
quite
up.
a few moves already. Yeah, I think as you pointed out, uh, Srinath pointed out, yeah, Vishy is not used to playing these online championships, so maybe there is some issue with the setting. We don't know. Internet also sometimes doesn't really, work out exactly at the last minute. So probably they are fixing that. Meanwhile, we will go to Topalov versus Raunak. Topalov is white in this game.
What is Raunak's chess.com ID?
Raunak is um, I don't know how to say that.
Do you know?
Just a moment.
Um, Chat just gives a moment while we try to
Yeah, we are getting it on the screen.
figure
So
it out.
meanwhile, Vasily Topalov, of course, is a former world champion. He also doesn't play in many of these online events, and he also doesn't play much nowadays. Actually, he's been playing less frequently, and but of course, ever so competitive, and um, this is going to be an interesting clash of generations, as they call it.
Yeah, absolutely. A very interesting clash of generations, and also the challenge of playing online. And there we have it. Finally, we have the game. The game has begun. The game between Raunak against Vasilin Topalov, the former world champion. And this is the live version that we have right now. Meanwhile, Vishy's game has also begun. We'll just go there in just a brief moment. How are things going in Raunak's game so far, Soumya?
Yeah, so Ronak is black in this game, and already the queens have come off. It looks pretty equal, but this is basically a minority attack sort of position. So White's idea will be to expand on the queen side with his minority pawn structure, pawn b4 and a2, which will come to a4 shortly, and he will try to take a b5 break. That's the plan White goes for in these structures. Uh, Black, meanwhile, actually, Black, you can say, is, I mean, his bishop is actually Black's position is very good because his knight is very well placed on e4. He can take on g3 anytime he wants. So White doesn't really have a pair of bishop advantage. It's just optical, and it can go away anytime. On the other hand, the knight on e4 is very strong anyway, so you don't need to take it immediately. You can just leave it there. And the bishop on f5, I wouldn't call it a bad piece as well, because even though the pawn structure, the central pawn is on d5, the bishop has a is outside the pawn chain. There is no pawn on e6. Imagine if there was a black pawn on e6 and black's bishop was on d7 or c8, it would be called as a bad bishop. But right now it's outside the pawn chain. It has a lot of open diagonals. So uh, comfortable position. Only thing is, does black have an active plan? And what could that be?
Very, very well explained. And this came out of the Ragozin opening, which again is played by a lot of Indian players, including a fan favorite, Vidit Gujarati. And Topalov went for one of the older variations. After bishop b4 here, queen a4 check is the trending move. But he went for this line with cd, ed, bishop g5, which used to be popular about 4 or 5 years ago, especially during these Magnus Carlsen World Championship matches. And these lines over the years have been proven to be completely okay for black. And Raunak has played concretely, confidently, and I think he has a very safe position out of the opening. For white, the biggest pain point here is this bishop on g3. If black, for example, can get h5 and h4, this bishop will have no place to go. E5 is covered by f6, and almost all the other squares are taken. And this is the problem fundamentally for white in this position. He can't bring this bishop into the game with f3 because that would weaken the e3 pawn, and this rook on e7 is eyeing the e pawn directly. So this is our status update on Raunak's game. Raunak is quite comfortable, and Topalov is playing quite fast in this game so far. He seems to be prepared, but the position is a bit more in favor of Raunak. And of course, the game between Vishy against Ponkratov has also begun with the French defense, which was used against Vishy the last time they both played each other. The French defense win-over variation. This is how it began. And Ponkratov has a tendency to go for these lesser known lines within the lines that he's playing. So here queen c7 is the main move, but he went for knight c6, queen g4, g6, h4, h6, preventing h5, preparing against h5. And quickly going through to the live position, Vishy just chose to develop his pieces, bringing his knight out, queen a5, bishop d2, queen a4, attacking this pawn. Vishy defends it with rook to a2, bishop d7, developing the bishop, preparing long castle, queen f4, preventing long castle, keeping an eye on the f7 pawn, c4, closing the center and preventing this bishop from getting into the game, bishop e2, knight e7. And now Vishy eyes this juicy f6 square for the f3 knight. So he starts maneuvering his knight to h2. It's not possible for black to prevent this because that would weaken the g5 square. So he goes long castle, conveniently forgetting about the f7 pawn because the queen will not come back alive if it takes it. And Vishy just goes about knight g4, knight to f6. Black brings his own knight to f5, f3, preparing g4 to evict this knight in the future. The white knight on f6 is on an outpost. The black pawns or pieces cannot disturb it, but the knight on f5 vulnerable to a future g4. Knight c7, king f2, queen a5, and here we have the live position, g4 played by Vishy.
Wow, actually, it's a fantastic cover up of what has happened so far, Sri. Thank you so much. And such a great position for Vishy, actually. I mean, this he has just sacrificed a pawn on h4. That's for sure. But basically, in French, black tries to take an f6 break at some point, which is impossible right in this game because of the knight on f6. And I'm just curious if the knight on h4 can actually be trapped right now, because it has nowhere to go. I'm just curious, what is black doing for queen g5, for example?
Yeah,
but I can't see it immediately. So let's try and understand.
no, it could very well be tracked, Soumya, because we do see the plus 2.0 evaluation by the engine. And it could very well be trapped. Maybe the best move for black is something like knight f5. I'm also surprised by the speed at which Ponkratov has played in this game so far, because his position is not so great, and it was actually terrible. So to see him play with such speed as if he's in his opening preparation, it just surprises me a bit. On the other hand, I'm quite happy with how well prepared Vishy has turned out to be. I think he was exactly ready for this French win hour, where it was predictable that Ponkratov would enter, and it was only a question of Vishy being sure of going towards the checking through and refreshing all the sidelines that he could play, and there he goes for Queen G5.
Wow, so actually this game is already winning for white. White is going to win the f5 knight after rook h8 and gf5. Black is only going to have two pawns as compensation. But on the other hand, he has nothing else to show. I mean, white's pieces are really well placed. I don't know why the evaluation has gone down to equal.
I
But
guess there's some rook h2 check here. Rook h2 and some knight into f5 and some counterplay related to that. Which is why, Soumya, Vishy, instead of taking on h8 and allowing the other rook to the open h file, just goes knight to h7. He just covers all the counterplay. And he knows that he's going to win this piece anyway because these knights protect each other. So this knight is not going anywhere.
Wow, knight h7 is a classy move.
Yeah, a very strong move and very strong play by Vishy so far. I don't think Pavel saw this one coming. It's like he's playing so fast, he just didn't see this coming. He was kind of hoping to play with this counterplay on the h file, but now white has effectively prevented it.
Yes. And knight h7, fantastic move actually, because even like let's say bishop f3 would not have done the job because rook h1, bishop h1 followed by rook h8. Attacking the h1 bishop was an option, but after knight h7, black has no more tactics left. And the knight, of course, on f5 cannot move. I mean, if it does move to g7, then the e7 knight hangs. So black is going to have to give up one piece for only two pawns and no other compensation. Right.
Absolutely. And people in the chat are surprised by Vishy having less time. Maybe all the time spent with Nihal is rubbing off on Vishy as well. And but yeah, like Nihal yesterday, Vishy has the better position and he has played better so far in terms of chess. And yeah, he's winning a piece. He's clearly better here. Although there is a lot of complications still to navigate, and it's still, I think, quite far towards conversion. The knight on h7 for now, it protects any threats on the h file, but it can't stay there forever. And black will try to get counterplay with something like bishop a4, for instance, not allowing this rook to support this rook. He goes knight to c6, in fact. And g takes f5 is met by g takes f5. So black will continue to try and aim for some counterplay on these two files. But the last two moves by black, it doesn't really prevent white from playing rook a1. And if this knight gets back to f6, and if white solves all the problems on the h file, then it's going to get very tough for black.
Queen a4 played, and I mean, for example, can I simply play knight f6, forget about the pawn on c2? Oh, Vishy gives up the a3 pawn instead of the c2 pawn. And he's going to come back to the knight now.
I imagine he just didn't want to allow this queen to come to these central squares. So he just prioritizes the c2 pawn. And now I do expect knight f6 back. Yeah. But black will have some counterplay now after queen b2 and pushing the a pawn. So Vishy goes for queen to f6. And I think he wants to get the knight to the d6 square.
Right. That actually is a very nice idea because, I mean, how do you support f7? First of all, maybe queen e7 is the only move? Is there a better move? I don't think so. So queen e7 might be the move, but then bishop g5 even. And our bishop comes to f6 after queen f6, bishop f6, and we also go to g5 with our knight. And then we just go in with our rook to h7 and pressurize black on f7 point, and even bishop h5 coming in. We are likely to win the f7 pawn.
Absolutely. We are likely to win the f7 pawn here, one way or another. And black's only counterplay here is trying to get this a pawn going. So in that sense, it's useful for white to have both the rooks for the moment. He doesn't need to hurry with trading off one of the rooks, because it will be easier to control the a pawn in case black threatens something like that. Also, this b pawn is quite tender. So if you can get this knight to d6 eventually, then there will be threats related with rook b1 as well, and black's king will have to worry about its safety as well. So these are the problems, the threats that black encounters. Paul goes for queen b2. He has to put all his eggs on one basket and try and get the a pawn as far as possible. It's pretty much his only hope. And what move does white play right now? It's not so easy, because knight g5, there is rook into h1, rook into h1, and queen into c2, which it doesn't feel good to allow this and lose one more pawn. So what do you think white will do here, Soumya?
That's a nice point. That the c2 pawn is hanging once the c1 rook moves. So there is a option of playing, let's say, a move like rook h6, where the rook is protected and we are ready to move the knight. But Vishy simply takes the pawn on f7. Yeah, that's a better move, because now we are also threatening knight f6. We are also threatening bishop g5. We actually have options here. Bishop g5 is a good move, no? Bishop g5 followed by knight f6.
Yeah, bishop g5 forces this rook. Okay, stockfish is brutal. Yeah.
The computer doesn't like. I get it. And
it loses too much.
You want to give up the rook. Basically, black will be a whole rook down, but he'll win a lot of pawns.
Yeah, and get access to the white's king as well. So queen into f7, a5, and the other move you suggested here is knight to f6, yeah? And then you thought it's better not to have this rook on d8 when we play that.
That was my intention, actually, of playing bishop g5. That when the rook moves, we can play knight f6. But do we have some other moves here? He has played knight f6. Okay.
Yeah, he has played knight f6. So Soumya, carrying on from where she left yesterday, predicting the moves like a boss, and rook into h1, rook into h1, queen into c2, and now what should white play on?
I love rook h7. I'm just wondering, maybe it's a bad move because queen d2, knight d7, and there are some checks with queen f4, right?
Might not be the worst thing in the world if the king can escape from checks.
You think so? So king g2, queen g5, and king h3 is a nice safe haven, but queen e3 check, right?
Yeah, queen e3 check. So, but any if there's any way we can escape from the check, then there is checkmate on the next one.
So maybe king h1 here. King h1, queen c1, and king h2 again doesn't work.
Queen f4 check. But Vishy has simply played his rook to d1 in the present position.
Okay.
We were looking at rook to h7, the checkmating option. Vishy chooses to just defend the bishop, not go about calculating so much, and he will reap advantages on this side of the board. Meanwhile, it's still again not over, because this a pawn is a real counterplay, and with limited time, sometimes it's not so easy to play against such counterplay. Vishy takes the e pawn. He creates an e passed pawn of his own, and now maybe something like bishop f4. but then a2.
Um,
Yeah, actually, it's not so
what?
easy, I think.
Mm,
Just
yeah,
look.
actually, black is threatening a2 and queen into d1. That's black's immediate threat. So how do we counter that? Can we move our bishop? Is my question. If we move our bishop to, let's say, you were suggesting f4, right?
Yeah, but so far in the game, Vishy has been reluctant to move this bishop for good reason because it always hung the c pawn. And also, the problem is when you give a check, black can prevent it with knight d8. He's not forced to go to c7 and come under this bishop. And computer, wow, shows plus 11. I think the key, white has to get such an advantage on this side, Soumya, that even queen into d1 doesn't matter. This has to be white's winning strategy. So something like e6 here, bishop to g5, and
Yeah.
it should be game over.
Yeah.
Vishy goes for queen to f6. He goes for queen to f6 with, I think, similar idea, but he wants to stay under control here for as long as he can. I'm not sure what he's intending after a2, probably e6. Rook moves away.
Rook moves to e7, and we can at least play bishop f4, for example.
Yeah, now bishop f4 is quite strong because it threatens checkmate.
King
But it's not
f8.
so clear.
No, like for example, here queen d1, bishop d1, and black mates a queen on a1, then queen f8, knight d8, and queen e7.
Yeah, this is winning.
Right. So
But
this
I guess there is some defense here for black. I don't know. I don't know what the defense is, but apparently there's some defense for black here.
queen e4 looks like an option, but no, doesn't work because of queen f8 again.
Meanwhile, we have some moves in the game. Queen f6
Okay.
was played.
Let's
a2, queen f8 check, rook d8, and Vishy just brings queen all the way back to a3, which Stockfish is very, very unhappy with. And black goes rook h8, and the evaluation bar has changed.
You serious?
It was never an easy position for white. We can say that it's +4, but it certainly didn't feel that way. And for white, the problem is you never had control of the game. You never had that control where your black's counterplay was suppressed. So this has been the problem.
Wow. So as I see, one of the problems here is that queen a8 check doesn't really work out well for white because queen a8, knight b8. The knight is a very good defender of the king, as we have seen yesterday as well. You know, Nihal's knights were able to defend his king side quite well despite white's attack. Same way here as well, the knight comes to black's defense. And after bishop f4 in that variation, black would have got the queen to e4 and continue to attack white's pieces. So he plays bishop f3 here.
Mm-hmm.
Right, bishop f3 with the intention that after rook h2, does he want to go bishop g2? But that doesn't look
Yeah, bishop g2 loses the d1 rook.
right.
So I think he's forced to go king e1.
Or king,
And
king
he's
e1
just
is
about defending.
Oh.
So rook h2 check has been played, and I think king e1 should be the only move here. Yeah, he goes for it, and his point is this bishop from d5 it controls the h1 square and also creates threats against the black king. So white is just hanging on there, and at this point white would be happy to bail out and take a perpetual check because black's pieces are just too active, and this a2 pawn is worth more than a piece.
But I'm wondering, how does black continue his attack?
I was thinking queen d3.
So queen d3 also comes into any kind of discovered options, right? Like, for example, here if we can find a way for our bishop to attack black's king, maybe queen f8 here.
King c7.
Yeah, so for example, knight d8 wouldn't, knight d8 might also have worked actually.
Yeah, black's pieces are just
So
too
like
close
gave bishop.
to white's throat.
Yeah, like all of our bishop pieces are defending some square. For example, bishop g5 would run into queen c3 here.
Yep.
So each of our pieces, like the rook on d1 is defending the a1 square, the bishop on d2 guards e3 as well as c3, the bishop on f3 guards h1 and e4 as well as e2. So yeah, that's white's main problem, that black's pieces are attacking and white is a little stuck. Can't
Yeah,
play
and it
before
has
white.
gone according to this direction, Soumya. Do you think we'll see a repetition here? Yeah, I think we are witnessing a repetition.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has repeated once, and I think Vishy should be happy to bail out here because things have really taken a turn for the worse, and yeah, we are seeing a repetition. Black can go king d6 here. He's probably just contemplating that. But if black goes king b6, then white can. What does white do?
White
Because
can
rook
even
into
take
d2
on
is a threat.
c5. White can even take on give a queen c5 check. Sorry, and after king c6
He has.
a3 and queen a3 check and oh,
Yeah,
but maybe knight a5, right? For queen a3
yeah,
knight.
knight a5 makes sense.
Right, queen a5 and after queen d6 check, black has b6 with no check.
But yeah, it's not so clear how
But
black,
now queen
how white.
d5, now queen
Queen
d5
d5,
is
there's always rook
checkmate.
into d2.
And queen a?
Queen 8, king b5, and queen e8 draws.
Yeah, this looks
This is
now
tough to see.
finally
It's so
under
deep.
control. It's tough, but
It's
it's forced.
Yeah, it is forced.
So
And does white have something better against king b6? Because if there's nothing better, then I think black should really go for this, and he's not really in any danger. If black isn't in any danger, then I think it makes so much more sense to go for king b6 and allow white to try and find this.
yeah,
What
we
do you
again
think?
want to point out that actually none of white's other pieces are able to move from their positions because bishop on f3 guards e2 and h1 and e4. Bishop on d2 guards c3 as well as e3 and rook on d1 guards d2. Yeah, so it's been a draw. They've taken a draw, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a sigh of relief for Vishy, although he was better for a large part of the game. Uh, Towards the end, it really went out of control. Meanwhile, let's quickly have a look at what's going on. Oh, it's already a draw in the Topalo Raunak game.
Shall we have a
Raunak,
look at how it ended? Because we left it at being totally fine for Ronak at after knight d7, but we didn't continue.
yeah, we left it around this point, and White continued with a4. As you pointed out, Soumya, the strategic aspects of this position, the minority attack, Black defending a6, rook d1, bishop e8, bishop d3. Nice positioning of the pawns, and also preparing h5, h4 in the future. Rook e1, king g7. White was all this time defending the e3 pawn and preparing f3, so he finally plays it out. Knight into g3, h into g3, h5. It looks like a very solid game to me. Um, White trying his stuff, his positional stuff, defending the e3 pawn first, fortifying it, and then trying to go for the b5 break. Meanwhile, Black getting the counterplay on this side. So with f5, he prepares that rook c3, the rook goes to f8 in order to try for f4. White prevents it with f4 and king f6. Uh, Topalov managed to create some pressure in this game, yeah?
Yeah. Now the bishop on e8 is not as good as it was on f5, when we were explaining how it's not a bad bishop. And now he managed to make it look like a bad bishop.
Yeah, but Raunak created counterplay on this side steadily and continuously. So with h4, he traded all the pawns down there. So in the end, he remains with only very limited weaknesses to defend against. And it was also a good decision to take bishop into c6 here, I think, rather than b into c6. Because if he had taken this, he would have been left with two weaknesses: the bad bishop on e8 and a weak pawn on c6. But by taking with the bishop, he was left only with a bad bishop on c6. And when this got traded around this point, black only had to defend the c6 pawn, which he did uh, comfortably just by moving the rooks back and forth. And since white had only one weakness to focus on, he didn't really have much leverage to play against, and they agreed for a draw at this point.
Yeah, I think a comfortable draw mainly because of the lack of material. Even though Topalov had some pressure on black, because Raunak timely exchanged all the pawns. There were only three pawns left to defend in the end, and he was able to do it quite well. His king was also quite active, actually, on G5, G6, controlling white from activating his king further. Because, like, for example, imagine if the king had been restricted to the eighth rank, then f5 would have been a serious weakness in this position. So,
Right.
yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Actually, it's a good instructive way to defend inferior positions. Like when you're structurally worse, keep your pieces active and try to exchange as many pawns as you can so that there are lesser weaknesses to defend. And if your pieces are active, they'll also do a good job of defending and controlling more squares on the position. So even if they don't attack anything, at least they don't let your opponent create more weaknesses into your camp and attack them.
Very, very well put there, Soumya. Very aptly pointed out, and it was good defensive technique. While we await the start of the next game, we also have a live game going on between Abdusattorov against Boris Gelfand, who is
Wow.
actually an active coach of the Indian team in a way.
Wow. Shall we have a look at what's the position? Wow, nice. It's so nice
Uh,
to see all these legends play in this tournament. I mean, it's, the youngsters getting to play against these legends. It's such a nice clash of generations. And also, in general, like players like Gelfand, Topalov, Anand, all of them, we have grown up watching their games and learning from them, but you don't really get to see them play as many online events, even though there are so many of them. So it's super nice that chess.com has managed to bring in all of these legends to play this event. And yeah, super, super nice.
Absolutely, and I think they have a bit of a history, if I'm not wrong, between Boris Gelfand and Nodebek. I'm not sure if it is with Nodebek though, but I do remember that in the Lyon Masters earlier this year, Boris had played against one of the top juniors, and Vishy was playing against Jaime Santos from Spain, and Boris played against a very strong junior too. I think it was Esipenko though, in the Lyon Masters 2022. And in that matchup, the experience prevailed. He managed to defeat his opponent in the semifinals, which he defeated Jaime Santos, and Boris defeated Vishy in the final to win the Lyon Masters earlier this year. Yeah, it was Esipenko. And he also has a close connection with the Indian chess, quite a bit of close connection. He was training the Indian team in a training camp in May, and he's also one of the coaches of the Westbridge Anand Chess Academy. So I think he has a very strong Indian connect.
Yeah, and can I just add one more thing? I think he's the kindest person I've met in the chess field. He is so nice. I mean, I remember even the first time I met him, he didn't even like we he didn't know that I was even playing in the tournament. But he's the kind of person whom, if you give him a smile, he'll definitely return it. He's super nice, and he's just I even remember the first time we spoke, he actually asked me about my game and encouraged me, when I told him that I made a draw against his country-made only, Tamil Nabati. And i don't I can't think of many people who will do that, like who are playing their own event, because chess players are usually in their own world, and you have your own game and you have finished it, you are tired. But here was this legend taking time out to actually encourage me, and he's one of a kind. I haven't met anyone like him actually.
That's
And even Vishy
that's
mentions this in his book, in Mind Master. He mentions this, that the day after the match, 2012 match, they both went to meet Vladimir Putin, who is the head of state of Russia, because the match was held in Russia, and they had a private meeting with him. And they actually went in the same cab, and Boris Gelfand sir spoke so normally with Vishy, like just like old times, even though the match had ended only the previous day and it was so close. He had a chance to become world champion, but Vishy won that match, as we all know. But even then, there were no hard feelings. He was behaving in the most normal manner, as if just two old friends meeting. They were even discussing the match, and even Vishy mentions this, that I cannot think of anyone else who would be so gracious in that situation.
some very warm words of praise there, Soumya, and I can completely attest to it as well. But in this position, Nodebek doesn't seem to be showing any signs of being kind to Boris. It's a very nice position for White. That pair of bishops, the bishop on b2 and the queen on c3, forming a battery, eyeing the g7 pawn, the other rook threatening to come to h1, and there is some serious pressure on Black's king side.
Yeah, I think Black's problem is also that his knight on b7 is doing nothing much other than defending the c5 point. That's not what he wants to do in this game. He wants to be a part of the action. He wants to create threats against White's king, maybe. He wants to attack e3, maybe, but he's back at b7, not much use in the defense or the attack of Black's position. And so it's almost like White is playing with the piece up in terms of creating an attack against Black's king.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nodekbek is also a very fast player, and you can see that he has a significant time advantage there. He has a 2-minute lead, and Boris has just a bit over 2 minutes remaining there. He's finally taken that pawn on f5. I was wondering what the long think was about and why he hasn't taken that pawn. And Nodekbek is also someone who is very tied with the Indian chess, yeah, especially after the Olympiad gold.
Yes, it was so close, and it's actually both the teams are so similar as well. Both of them were the youngest average. In term, I mean, they were the lowest average in terms of age, and also underdogs. And both of them were racing for gold at the same time. Everyone remembers his match against Gukesh, of course. And Nodekbek is the current world rapid champion, lest we forget.
Yeah, he's the current world rapid champion, and the chess.com global championship is, in a way, it is like a world championship. Although it doesn't have the current classical world champion Magnus Carlsen participating in it, it has a lot of other top players. And let's see, who do you think is a favorite for this matchup?
Well, this match this particular game, I think Northern is going to clinch it, but I mean, I would say next match, Gelfand sir is white, so I would say he has a strong chance of coming back. But I think the match is slightly in Northern favor, also because of the time
Home
control.
turf.
Yeah, I mean the time control and the fact that it's online, these factors, they do play a role.
Absolutely, absolutely. Completely agree with you. And white is winning here because rook into d1, there is rook into e6 incoming. Probably black will have to drop a piece at some point. Meanwhile, we do have the start of the next game of the match. Vishy with the black pieces this time, Raunak with the white pieces, and Vishy starts with his trusted old Spanish.
Nice. Let's go. So knight e4, open Spanish on the board. This this was actually seen. This has become very very popular nowadays. Open Spanish. It had gone out of trend in between for a few years, but it's back in fashion, and it was also seen in the candidates. A fantastic game played by Hikaru Nakamura from the white side against Fabiano Caruana in a clinch game. If I remember correctly, it's surely a model game in this opening. So let's see what Vishy has in mind and whether Pavel goes for the setup chosen by Hikaru, or because there are a lot of options for white here. You can go direct c3 as played by Hikaru. You can go knight b d2, and if I remember correctly, there is also a move like queen e1 here. So
Right.
there are some options with white, and black also has some options, but usually black is wants to develop his bishop to c5. Yeah, for example, even here black has the option of developing his bishop to e7, but he prefers going to c5 and
No,
playing.
he played bishop e7.
Okay, so he's gone for a more solid setup, and I think he'll retreat his knight to c5 now after knight d2.
Yeah, knight c5, bishop c2, d4. That's how
d4.
this line
Yeah,
goes. Yeah.
and there is it actually has a chance to directly enter an endgame as well, right?
Yep. After
After
knight b3, d3, knight into c5, d into c2. This one, right?
yeah, this.
But Vishy goes for a different line. He chooses to castle out here
Okay,
without knight c5. So I guess this goes into this bishop c2, f5, this system,
okay.
which is an alternate. Also, I'm not entirely sure if Pavel goes into the main lines so often. Uh, he usually prefers to go into the side variations. So that's also a factor in Vishy's opening choice. He would, I think, be quite happy going for something which requires knowledge of the details. Bishop c2, f5 on the board. E takes f6. And now I guess knight takes f6. Yeah, knight takes f6, the only move. Meanwhile, chat, let's get those likes going. Let's get it past 100 and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. So more people tune in. And let's also have a quick look at what's going on in the Raunak game. Vishy's game, Rook E1 has just been played. And we are still into the opening zone, but I think Vishy might take a few seconds here after this move. And Raunak has, oh yeah, he just played queen to d7. Vishy just played his queen to d7. But just a pretty standard position out of the opening, yeah. I expect some knight b3 here.
Yeah, I think
And
we can go to Ronak's game because otherwise that might also be over by the time, because Vishy's game, and we know even the previous game was very very interesting. We do want to stick to it, but we also want to cover Ronak. So this is a Spanish again. This was also a Spanish, but a different kind of Spanish. Was it
Italian. It was the Italian.
Oh, it was an Italian, right? Yeah, the pawn is still on b7. So it was an Italian, and black has got the d5 break, which he buys for in the Italian. Is this good news or bad news for us?
I think Black is doing pretty okay. He's pretty comfortable. Raunak has gone for his tried and trusted Italian. He plays it quite a lot. But in this particular instance, Black has, I think, got pretty much what he has wanted out of the opening. And now he has to watch out for some bishop into h3 related tricks. This can get nasty very quickly. So I think he has to cover it with king h2. White has a lot of space on the queen side, but on the king side, he's relatively unattended, and therefore he has to try and make sure that he doesn't fall prey to any immediate tactics from black.
Yeah, like to just explain it a little bit for our chat, the bishop on a7, even though it seems out of the action, it's also a great attacking piece in this position because from a7 it looks all the way up to g1. It's keeping the f2 pawn pinned. So bishop h3, let's say white had played some random move instead of ed5, maybe a move like rook b1, just to illustrate how things can go wrong. Bishop into h3, gh3, and queen h3. And already in this position, black is threatening queen into g3 because the f2 pawn is pinned. And for example, here bishop e3 with white would run into knight f4, attacking, threatening queen g2. And after bishop f4, e f4, both g3 as well as f3 knights would be under attack, and black would win back a piece with interest.
Yep, and that is why Raunak preferred not to allow any such thing but distract this bishop with e takes d5. Black recaptured with the bishop, and now knight e4 played. The drawback of this whole operation is that now d3 pawn becomes a weakness. But nevertheless, I think white wouldn't mind it too much. It wouldn't be easy for black to get some pressure on the d3 pawn going at the moment because white has the threat of knight into f6 check. And in a position where the structure gets clarified like this, it's still nice for black because the black knight has access to the f4 square, whereas the knight on f3 is not doing as attractive a job as the other knight. In fact, this has quickly happened in the game. Topalov plays rook a d8, Raunak responding with rook a2, securing his second line of defense. The rook will come to d2, and I think Raunak will try to bail out in this game. He wouldn't mind a draw. He wouldn't mind going into the Armageddon, I guess. I think the non-incremental format would suit younger players much more.
Yeah, interesting. So, yeah, Topalov definitely putting some pressure on Raunak in this game as well. So it seems like Topalov has, all of these top players, whether they play in online tournaments or not, they do play a lot of training games amongst themselves, with their seconds and with their trainers. So it's super nice to see them playing in this event because for the chat, they are not used to, they haven't seen them play as much online. And I mean, I'm sure it must be a surprise for a lot of people in the chat to see that Topalov is playing so fast. Look at his time. He has 11 minutes. I mean, we are already 20 moves into the game. This is the 21st move, and Black has 11 minutes. This is fantastic time management by Topalov.
Yeah, and it looks like Raunak has got something going in this game, Soumya, because after Topalov's previous move, c5, he got his bishop to e3, pinning the a7 bishop. And after queen c6, c4, he's really got a very uncomfortable pressure against Topalov. c5 was not a great move by him.
Oh, the bishop, which was eyeing the king on g1, is now doing nothing, is sort of locked behind his own pawns on a7. Even from b8, it will be locked behind e5. Suddenly, from a great piece, it's become a very, very passive bishop. That's the problem with a move like c5.
Yeah, and now white threatens to lock it in permanently with something like b5 and b6. And here we see the superiority of white's pawn structure on the queen side uh, being clearly revealing itself. This move c5 was the turning point in the game. And I think Topalov would be regretting doing this because c5, bishop to a3. And he went queen c6, c4. And now he's taking a long think because his position is really uncomfortable and he's probably not too happy with what he's done.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised actually. I don't even understand what did he miss. Does he want to give an exchange sack on d4 with rook d4? Could that be his intention?
He can still do it, but I certainly don't think it was his intention when he played this earlier. I think he just simply missed bishop e3. And the thing about this exchange sacrifice is that
It's tempting. It's tempting though. I don't know. Clearly, the engine doesn't like it, but as a human, I would be concerned about it, and I would definitely be thinking about it as white as well.
yeah, the problem for black is this bishop is not activated despite the sacrifice, So as white has two options: either take this immediately with the knight, of course, because you don't want to allow this knight onto f4 by giving up this bishop. So he will take it with the knight, but either he can do it immediately or he can start with b5, b6, and then go knight into d4. And this way he plays against the bishop, and the bishop has no active squares. So that is probably why it's not such an as much compensation as black would like. Therefore, black just goes with rook to c8.
Right. So he simply defends c5, and white still can't play b5, I suppose, or can he? He can play b5, no? In this position. He can't because
Yeah,
the
I think he
pawn on
can.
a2 will be hanging in the end. For example, a b c b c4.
Okay.
But
This is
but do you simply move your queen here? You could do.
yeah. Just move the queen, and I think the piece
Yeah,
is lost.
right. So actually, the tactics work out for white here. Black has black. Yeah, b5 is definitely an option. Has he played it?
No, he hasn't played it yet. Rook c8. This is the present position.
Mm-hmm. And for example, if black moves his queen after b5, a b c b, black can play something like queen e6, but then b6. I mean, after queen into e6, rook e6, and b6, or even, I mean, the bishop is so sad to be on b8, behind his own pawns, and the pawn on b7 is also weak. The c4 square would be weak. Rook c2, rook c1 is one idea. Yeah, knight d2, knight c4.
Yeah, it's just such a beautiful position. And yeah, so this is the update on Raunak's game. Rook c8 has been played by Topalov. We are expecting b5, and Raunak has a massive advantage. Let's see if he will convert this or if Topalov will fight back. But I am rooting for Raunak here. And meanwhile, back to the Vishy game. Uh, Quite a lot of changes here, Soumya, but I'm not sure if it is good changes for Vishy.
Right. I mean, the position has changed completely. The pawn structure is not favorable for black for sure. We just. Hello?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's mainly the c6 pawn.
Yeah. The
And
c6 pawn and the bishop on f5. The previous game also we saw that this pawn structure is slightly more favorable to the white side because the pawns are on the same square as the bishop. And also the king is a matter of concern over here. The king on h8 is not very safe. The major pieces are still on the board, so white can also create an attack. Not an attack, but attack black's king by pushing his pawns forward, like Srinath just pointed out with g4, and get all his pieces in.
Yeah, but Vishy defends it with King G7, and right now he's still defending. Still some time to go for White to be able to convert this, but it is advantage for White. And I have to say that I do feel Pavel is a bit of an uncomfortable opponent for Vishy in general. And I think it's because Pavel plays in such an unconventional way that so it's just not easy to keep things in control. It reminds me of the Indian international master Ratnakaran. He just is so good at creating chaos over the board. He's very skillful at it. Of course, at a much higher level, Pavel is well above 2600, but he's just very good at this. And for those who have just joined us, we are in the second game right now of the 4-game match. Vishy drew the first game, and so did Raunak against Topalov. And this is the second game going on.
Right. So, but I also feel like, let's say if black exchanges all the pieces, as many pieces as he can in this position, let's say rook e1, rook e1, rook e8 is an idea that comes to mind with black. Can white honestly target black's defenses, or does exchanging pieces solve a lot of black's problems here?
I think exchanging pieces does solve black's problems a bit, because in the queen endgame, saving the kings from check will always be a bit of a problem. So I think trading the pieces will definitely help. And Vishy improves his pawn structure, a5, a4.
But I was looking at this move and I wasn't sure if I would push a5. So I'm just trying to understand if white plays a4 here, because in the previous position, even after a4, black doesn't need to do anything because the pawn is still on a6, and after ab, we simply take back. But here, white is actually threatening ab, cb, and then the d5 pawn becomes weak. So
yeah.
Black will be forced to play b4 here, I guess. I mean,
b4 is one option, and also you can, I think, take, and do some queen b7.
So you want to create counterplay instead of...
Yeah, but this clearly isn't working. So
yeah, I wonder why.
I think you are right.
Why?
Rook e6, quite simply.
K6 and f6 is attacked, right? We keep thinking that white wants to take the c6 pawn, but he's actually looking at black's king.
This was a terrible suggestion by me, and after a4, giving up this e file is not a good decision.
So I would say
something like rook b8.
Oh, simply rook b8. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just wondering. Rook into e8, bishop into e8. Oh no, then the rook would hang.
Yeah, queen e8 is an option.
Queen e8 is only move because rook into e8 there is a b5.
Right. And now rook c6, we have queen c6. And after queen b8, we have b into a4 at least. So
yeah, and then the queen comes and gets countered. So a4 I would love to make rook b8 work if I was black. b4 I'm very reluctant to do, because b4 then this a pawn becomes very accessible. Vishy goes for queen b7, in fact. He goes for queen b7, which was what I was also trying to do, but I traded first because I was worried about some queen c7 check coming in. It is understandable that Vishy wants to do this to get a piece on this file, But concretely, this allows white some options, and Pavel just plays king h2 in just 18 seconds, keeping his king safe against any potential check in the future. Also, knowing that black cannot resolve any problems immediately. This feels like very nasty pressure against black, Soumya.
King h2 is a very strong move to play in this position. Just take the king out of any kind of checks, any kind of back rank perpetual options. Simply king h2, and you're basically asking black, what are you planning to do next?
Yeah, and it's not so easy for black to. He goes for rook into e1, rook into e1. But as we already earlier saw, this has the deadly threat of rook e6. If the rook comes out to e6, it's going to get very bad for black. So maybe rook e8 is forced now.
Wow. Okay. We need to go and check out Raunak's game right now for a second. Something has happened in that position. Let's just quickly look at Raunak versus Topalov. Raunak won. What happened there? The queen got trapped. The queen got trapped on e6. Okay then. Great win. Great win for Raunak.
Yes, chat. Raunak OP in the chat. What a win by Raunak. A crushing win against Topalo. He did play this b5 strategic idea, Soumya, and he just outplayed him in the Italian opening. What a beautiful win. He created pressure. He forced Topalo to blunder. And then with rook d6, he harvested the win.
What a fantastic win coming in against a former world champion, former world number one, Vasily Topalov. Amazing, amazing game by Raunak. Great boost to his confidence, and he goes up in the match by 1 point. He takes the lead with 2 more rounds to go.
Yes, and it's going to be a big lead for Raunak. He's usually very good at being solid in these kind of situations, Soumya. We've seen it happen so many times in Rapid Chess Championship, Title Tuesday. He gets into an early lead, and then he's very good at sitting tight and making draws. And even if it goes to the Armageddon, I think Raunak would be a bit of a favorite. Oh, Vishy's missed something. He missed bishop into d5. He missed bishop into d5. You could clearly see that in his face.
So that was the point of king h2 actually. He was threatening rook e8, and bishop d5 in that position.
Yeah, very tricky by Pavel. And Vishy just missed this bishop into d5 resource. And now the position has turned very bad for Vishy. This looks bad. A b5, and the pity is he can't even take queen into b5 because of bishop c4. It's just collapsing. I think he's going to resign soon. Queen b5, bishop c4, and
c4 queen h5 check we have.
Bishop c4, there's queen h5 check. Okay, yeah, okay.
And we then take on b2. Maybe we can see what to do in that position. But at least
so queen g4 check first, taking the h5 square under control, and then playing bishop c4. But this loses the control of the c1 rook.
But now just queen bishop c6.
He goes queen d7 check first. Not quite sure what his intention is, but the evolution bar shows what +9. So something massive is there for white. Maybe it's as simple as taking rook into c6.
I think rook h1 is also. No, rook h1 is unnecessary. After queen d5, black is okay. After rook h1, queen d5, king g1, and bishop h5. So
yeah, this would. So rook into c6 taken, and now the queen h3 check is the threat. There are massive threats all around.
Rook g2 stuff doesn't work because white always have a safe haven on h3, and the f5 square is also controlled by the d7. Yeah, I mean, I was looking more at queen e2, but yeah.
He goes for it though. Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, queen e2, king h3, queen f1, king g4. I don't see a perpetual is
f5. Yeah, because f4 and
queen f5.
controlled.
That's the
Oh yeah,
problem.
simply queen f5. Yep, simply
Yeah.
queen f5 and it's game over. Vishy does go for it though. He goes for rook into g2, king into g2, queen takes b2 check. But now just king to h3, I think. And I think Vishy will keep playing. He will maybe take the pawn on d4 and keep playing for a few more moves. If you can
Till he
take this pawn
calms
on
down.
d4 and somehow win this bishop, you're still in with chances. And then there are some checks as well to consider.
I think he's just trying to calm down, to be honest. Like, I mean, he's just trying to sort of accept that he has blundered and calm himself down for the next game. And honestly,
Yeah, yeah,
that's the
yeah.
strategy of playing on. Okay, Queen A1. So he has the threat of Queen H1, King G4, Queen H5, and Queen G5. That was the threat. It was a checkmate. So White prevents it by controlling H1 square.
He could have gone queen b1 though.
With the idea Bishop F5 as well, right?
Yeah,
So you have a double threat.
yep.
Yeah,
The
this is
world is pretty unforgiving for the older people, the newer formats especially, the chess world.
well, I mean, Vishy still has two more games left, and also in the first game he was completely dominating. So um I wouldn't I wouldn't come to conclusions so fast.
Yeah, but Vishy even losing a game is, I think, a big upset uh,
It
in
is.
the context of things. It wouldn't have happened in the past.
It wouldn't
And
probably also happen in an OTP, right? Like online chess is a different beast to play. What do you think?
yeah, probably. And Vishy is just letting his time run out. Yeah,
No, I,
yeah, he just let his time run out. And with that, Pavel takes the lead in this match. He takes a 1.5 half lead. And Raunak, the good news is Raunak also won his game. So Raunak has the lead himself. In the match between Anish and Ju Venjan, it's tied at 1-1 now. So pretty decent play by Ju Venjan so far. Although it was a pretty early draw in the second game. They just drew in this position in just 24 moves. And Anish won't mind that with the black pieces. The match between Boris Gelfand and Nodirbek, the other match to look forward to, is going on in the second game. Nodirbek won the first game with the white pieces, and in the second game, he's doing a pretty decent job holding his own.
so Boris Gelfand is white in this game. Nordirbeck is wow. He has got his pawn to d3 and knights on c5 and e6 quite well placed actually. They are doing a good job of defending each other and the pawns.
Yeah, it's like a family unit.
So
And
King
white has
F1
this
was
pawn
a
on a5.
King F1 was a good move in general. It's good to bring your king towards the center in the end game, and also I think White's threat was King E1 followed by Bishop B4, Knight B4, Rook C5, and he doesn't need to be worried about D2 because then you have King D Knight into D2 basically. So with the king on G1, all of these things are impossible. So that's why he plays Rook D5, supporting the knight on C5.
Yeah, that's very well explained and a key point in this position. So Rook d5 played, but once again, look at the time difference between both the players. Kapil in the chat says now that Vishy knows he has to win, Tiger Roar incoming. And also Pavel for the first time in the match, I think would be under a bit of pressure because until now he was probably just playing SAE, take prepare to take whatever comes. But now against Vishy, he sees some real chances, and this is when people start making mistakes when they see the finish line
That's
in
true.
front
And
of him.
actually, Ding Lijen did lose the first game of his match yesterday, and then he made a roaring comeback to get that match in and move to the second round. So, I mean, Vishy has all the chances to come back in this match as well, and he must be more motivated for sure to not let his advantage go. Um, and we are going to see a really good game in the third round, I feel. Vishy in his
Absolutely. We are going to see a really good game in the third round for sure. And I think still pretty good chances for Vishy to be able to hit back.
Maybe while we wait for Raunak and Vishy's game to start, we can ask the second question for chat for today for the Diamond membership. What do you think is going to be the opening in Raunak versus Topalov game 3? Let's go, guys. Let's make a guess.
Oh yeah, this is a very interesting question. What would Topalo do? And looking at Topalov's first game, Soumya, I don't feel like he's so well prepared in openings for this tournament. Now it's a well-known. It's well known that Topalo hasn't worked a lot on chess in the last few years. He's been kind of retired, and he's not working with a second. He's not, doing that kind of routine anymore the way he used to when he was an active player. And on the other side, you have Raunak, who basically works on chess day in and day out. He plays all the different tournaments online, offline, works constantly on chess. And I would expect Raunak to be a bit more prepared. And this is one of the biggest challenges for someone like Kapalo coming into this tournament.
Also, Shri, don't you think White has blundered something here? Bishop b4 is knight b4 rook b4 d2 coming in, or am I missing something?
I think his
I
intention
think
is
the
to.
point, right? I think the point is that the knight on d2 is sort of trapped after king e2, and he just wants to, black might take on a5, king d2, and rook e5, and um, it's an equal endgame with maybe some slight chances for white because he has an outside passer, but it's basically just equal. And if black tries to, act a little smart, goes to b1 with his knight, then white has this a pawn, very strong a pawn to play for. Yeah, I think this is winning actually. A6, right?
Yeah, this should be winning. Yeah, because the pawn comes to a7 by force. Rook b8 check, rook b7, a7. There's no way to stop it. And this knight is never coming into the game as well. It's still trapped.
This is very instructive. Very good moment to take bishop b4, I would say. Very instructive. So Nodirbek actually is thinking, right? He's not yet played his move, right?
No, he did play knight into b4, rook into b4, and now knight takes a5.
Kapil Chaudhary says Soumya really loves giving away those diamond memberships. Yes, I do. So please take a guess, chat. I am going to give away a lot of diamond memberships in this stream. So guess away. This is your chance to win a diamond membership on chess.com. Let's see if you get it right. He says Roy Lopez will be the opening in the next game. Interesting because Topalov played d4 in his first game with white, and he's going to be white in the third game. And Kapil is saying that he's going to switch to e4. It's quite possible.
Yeah, let's see. That's going to be interesting. But what within e4? The precise opening, yeah.
He's
like Ishan has written. Ishan predicted Catalan. Wow. What a wow. Am I seeing the chat right?
अरे
Oh
डायमंड
my
मेंबरशिप
god.
के लिए लोग बहुत कुछ करते हैं. ये दिस इज कैटलान को भी सपोर्ट करते हैं श्री. to increase the
Uh,
stakes. Nice, Ishan. Catalan is actually a good suggestion. I actually think it could happen as well.
Catalan was actually the weapon of choice for Vishy against Topalov in their World Championship match in 2010 in Sofia.
But actually, now that I think about it, he's more likely to go for this knight c3, bishop g5. Like if he gets a chance to play Ragosin. But then on the other hand, it was also the opening in the first game. So yeah, it's a real question. What is he planning to do? Maybe he does switch to e4, yeah? He does switch to e4 and plays in his element. Everyone has seen Kasparov versus Topalov.
Soumya, why is Gelfand not playing? Why? Make a move, please.
What happened?
Okay, I'm sorry. It's my fault. I didn't update the live. But things have changed. A few moves have happened. B3 knight into, it went into this endgame. And I was just seeing the
What
clock.
did he? Can we just have a look?
Yeah.
What Black played in that
Black
position?
took knight into a5. Rook d4 happened. Takes, and now.
So instead of d2, the variation which we saw, Black took knight a5. He did not push d2.
Yeah.
Right. What
Black
won?
Yeah, he won because after knight a5, rook d4 takes knight c4. I think black is already better. At least it gets practically very uncomfortable. And Boris gave up this pawn. But now black is a pawn up and his king is also coming. The important thing being that after f4, black had this move king d5. And after knight into e6, he just takes fe6, fe5, king d4. And here Boris lost on time, but the position is also winning for black.
It's winning for black?
Yeah, it is winning for black.
Because of tempo, yeah?
Yeah. Because I think the e5 pawn is easier for black to access than the e6 pawn for white. And at some point, I think this is bound to happen. And in a situation like this, black just gets towards the e5 pawn.
Yeah, because like for example, if white's pawns h2 and g2 are placed at the same place as black. So if white plays g4, then black also plays g5, and they both have equal number of tempos. So white will have to move his king at some point, and black will come and attack e5 and take it up, gobble it up.
Yeah. Yeah. Chat is just so entertaining. Meanwhile, we have a 6-minute break right now, Soumya. We have a 6-minute break, and after that, the games will resume, the third game. I also see Abhimanyu Puranik playing online right now against Vincent Kiemer. This is 3+0.
We also have another game, another match going on. I think MVL is also playing against Iturizaga, and he has won both his games so far. So has a 2-0 lead. If he wins the third game, then he will be through. Nice.
Yeah, I think he will win the third. He'll win this match. I think he's a big favorite. MVL against Iturizaga. So the matchups we have today, Vishy Vishy has half point. Ponkratov has 1.5. 2 more games to go, and it's a similar scoreline in the Raunak Topalov match. Raunak has 1.5 against Topalov's half. 2 more games to go, and Anish has 1-1 against the women's world champion Ju Wenjun. MVL is leading 2-0 against Iturizaga and the world rapid champion Nodebek Abdusattorov is leading against the Israel legend Boris Gelfand, the former World Championship challenger. And I can't help but notice that all the three legends are trailing at halfway.
Yeah, that's true. I'm also wondering, whom do Raunak and Vishy play in the second round, if they go ahead? Do they play against each other, or like how does the
No, they don't play against each other. The tree is such that I think Vishy is. I don't think they play against each other. They avoid each other in the tree. They only play if they win both the games.
so
And
I think the winner between Anish and Benjun will play the winner between Topalov and Raunak, if I got it right. And I think the winner between Anand and Pavel Ponkratov will play the winner between Nordirbek and Gelfand. Is that right?
yeah. So the winner, I think, yeah, there we have the tournament tree. So uh, we have some of the pairings there already. By the way, Nihal already setting up his match against Vladimir Kramnik, and on the other side of things, we have if the winner of the matchup between Vishy and Punkratov will play the winner of the Abdusattorov Gelfand match, and the winner of the Raunak Topalov match will play against the winner of Anish Jew Engine match.
Very interesting.
And we also have the Arjun game tomorrow. Arjun Erigaisi against David Paravian. And if he wins this, he might set up a potential encounter against Raja or Hu Yifan, depending on who wins that matchup. So that's also going to be a very exciting match when it happens.
Yeah, definitely. And okay, so we are right now waiting for the matches to begin. Yeah, chat is. I think there are a lot of fans of the legends in the chat. Same here, guys. Same here. We are also big fans of the legends, so we are hoping for. For sure they are going to fight back really hard. There are two more games. All of them are going to fight back really hard.
Absolutely. Rooting for it. Meanwhile, on the other side, we also have this little matchup going on between Abhimanyu and Vincent Kima. He's quite a good friend of you, no, Soumya? Abhimanyu?
A very good friend of mine. Everybody should have a friend like Abhimanyu. He's so entertaining. He is so enthusiastic. He's full of life. Also, thanks to him, I started playing a lot of football while I was in Pune. He's a huge football fan, and we used to have this group of Pune chess players who used to wake up at 4 a.m. and play football from 5 to 7 a.m. in the morning, 2 times a week.
Oh
It
my
was so
God.
great.
4
It was
a.m.
so
Wake up at
great.
4 a.m. Did you say? Wake up at 4 a.m.
Yes, extremely motivated group. We were
Needless
so
to
much
say,
in love.
Samay isn't a part of those Pune chess players gang.
No, at that time Savai was not a part of the chess scene itself. This was all pre-COVID. Then COVID happened and everything
Acha.
became. I think they're still playing sometimes, but I don't live in Pune anymore, so I'm not updated. But at least during COVID, no one plays
Entertaining
that.
both on and off the board, Soumya. Look at what he has done. He just took rook
Yeah,
into a2 here. Rook into e2. Rook into e2, sacrificing the exchange. Knight into e2, and now bishop d5. And
very nice.
playing for the mate. He's such an awesome chess player, though. I think I told this in one of the earlier broadcasts. Abhimanyu has this ability to find moves which escapes the eye of a lot of other players. And I think Abhimanyu has this unique ability. It's like a special talent.
Really? Okay. I'm a huge fan of his, but it's very nice to see you praise him. I'll tell him for sure.
Yeah, he's just very good at finding certain kind of resources. He's just very skillful in his
Very resourceful.
strengths.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true, actually. And I think he's just so enthusiastic about chess. Even when he loses, he analyzes with full energy and he's so involved. he's so involved in the game. It's not about the result as such. Of course, he wants to win. Everyone wants to win, but um, he just loves the process of playing chess, analyzing chess, seeing his games, seeing other people's games. All it's a lot of fun to hang out with him.
Absolutely. I can't agree more with that. And
So he's
his
totally in
opponent.
control, no? In this game. Now Rook F4 also coming in.
Yeah, he's totally in control. He has a time advantage. This is a 3+0 game, which is kind of like the training ground of so many of these modern chess players, juniors. Nihal has something like 10,000 games 40,000 games in this format. And Abhimanyu won the earlier first game. He's winning the second game as well. And his opponent is one of the best juniors in the world, Vincent Kiemer, who recently reached 2,700, and he's just about Nihal's age.
Yeah, Vincent
Meanwhile, we have kickoff in the
Germany. Big hope. Yeah, okay, let's go then. If we have a kickoff, let's go to the game. We are waiting for Vishwanathan Anand versus Pavel Ponkratov. Vishy is white. He opens with e4 and Ponkratov replies with a Philidor defense. This is a slightly passive setup usually for black because black's pieces will remain in the sixth rank at least till all of them get developed. So he puts his pawn on d6, then he'll probably castle. Sometimes um, he also goes knight d7. Yeah, I think okay. Now he's gone knight to c6. So actually, white has a lot of options here. He can even long castle. Yeah, I guess that's his plan. He's played queen d2 here. There are also setups with short castle, and all of them offer some slight initiative at least to white because he has control of the center and his development is faster.
Absolutely. And I quite like the choice of opening from Ponkratov here, from Vishy's perspective, Soumya, because the previous opening that he played was a very tricky French defense. Although the computer loves showing a very nice evaluation there for white, practically it gets very tricky. Whereas the Philidor can get one-sided very quickly for black. And opposite sides castling, white is much faster with the attack. F3, G4, H4, H5. And I think I'll boldly go ahead, make a call, and assert that Vishy is going to win this game. He's going to strike back. It's going to be a win for Vishy with the white pieces.
Wow, we want to see Vishy win. We want to see that result happening, Shri. Great prediction over there by Srinath. And now maybe we can have a look at Raunak's game as well. That started. And we also want to know who won the diamond membership. We want to find out what's the opening on the board. And
I would be surprised if anyone predicted Philidor.
No, the question was for Raunak's game actually against Topalov, and I think Topalov opened with the move 1c4, so it's an English opening. I don't think anyone predicted the English.
Yeah, it was just Sicilian and Catalan.
Yeah, I think we distracted them with our Catalan conversation, and then everyone was like, "Yay, let's go!"
And from the English opening, it's a reverse Sicilian defense. And Topalov playing the knight off defense with the white pieces. He goes into the old scavenge and stuff. Raunak not flinching. He just goes G5, H3, H5, knight to C3. And he's just going for it. He's just getting his pieces out, playing in like how we'd play in the Sicilian defense, the Keres attack. You see the similarity, yeah. It usually comes from this position with the white pieces: d4, c into d4, knight into d4, knight f6, knight c3, e6. White goes g4 here, and if black goes h6, then white goes h4. So we have pretty much the same setup, but with the colors reversed. And Raunak, who probably had prepared the Keres attack with the white pieces, is playing this with the black pieces.
Very nicely explained. So basically, let's see what Topalov wants to do against this setup? Usually black doesn't commit in the Keres attack. Black doesn't commit his king very early. He just keeps it in the center or he long castles. So that is an option for white here as well. Topalov is thinking where to put his king, where to put his pieces. For example, bishop e2, bishop d2, and then queen to c2, then long castle is a setup that white can go far. And
Yeah.
let's see.
Yeah. But I think a good result out of the opening for Raunak. He's gotten Topalov out of his comfort zone. He's gotten himself a pretty nice position objectively. And I think it's totally up to Raunak to take it from here. He's going to qualify to the next stage unless some major mistakes happen out of pressure, nervousness. Meanwhile, Kapil Chowdhury in the chat asking, do I get points for predicting Topalov will abandon d4, even though he went left rather than right? And Prachi Jain says,
yeah, she said English, it seems, but she already has a diamond membership, no?
yeah, and I just don't see it in the chat.
Yeah.
Scrolling up.
Probably she said it to herself.
You would know your mod.
No, because I also don't see the chat, so sometimes you just say things aloud. And
was it on our stream, Prachi? Meanwhile, going back to the Vishy's game, some good developments for Pavel actually. He's gotten a lot of space on the queen side. He started off with b5 and then he continued on with c5 in the race against white's king. And now he goes bishop e6, creating pressure on the a2 point, trying to get his queen to a5. And this is black's threat here. Also, it's an important move because white was threatening e5 and black has to prepare his knight getting to d5. Knight g3 played by Vishy, preparing g5, knight f5 and counterplay on his own. This game is going to be wild. This game is going to be double-edged. It's going to be wild and it could be anyone's game.
Yeah, for sure. For right now, for example, bishop a2 it would not be a great move because knight f5 is coming in and even b3 actually traps the bishop, so white will have that choice as well. But I don't like b3 so much because then black gets e5.
I too. Thank you so much, Soumya, for joining the club. You said it, chat. You can clip it and send it to AD. She said it right here on stream. And there is no escaping this evidence.
Yeah, in this position, I'll surely prefer to play knight to f5 and just focus on black's king and black's passive king side rather than touch my queen side in any way.
Right. Chat, don't clip the in this position part. You know what to do. The game has continued with knight g3 and d5. I was setting it up so nicely, trying to pretend as if I was going to play b3, taking my time to play knight f5, incepting the thought in your mind.
Oh, you were. Okay. But Pavel has played d5 here. It's a very responsible move. But bishop
I think he just wants to. Yeah, I don't know actually. I thought queen a5 was more attractive. d5, he gets rid of this weakness on d6, but now white also defends the a2 square, and I think this queen will be quite well placed on c4. So, although the computer evaluation hasn't changed in the last two moves, I think this is good for white. Because if this queen sits on c4, then it will defend the a2 pawn. It will get the knight to f5. And it will, I think, be so much easier for white to advance his attack. So I don't quite understand what is black's intention here. Does he want to Does he want to just put his queen on e6 and trade the queens off? But this knight is coming to f5. It's not going to be so easy for black to do that. I think practically the evaluation bar has shifted a bit towards white. Objectively, you will see it catching up in a few moves.
Knight d7, yeah. Knight d7 seems logical, but what happens for knight f5?
Bishop g5?
Bishop g5 is a good move. Bishop g5 is a good move. You want to trade off the dark squared bishop, right?
Yeah, I want to trade off the dark square bishop, and this will really help halt white's pawns, pawn movements on this side. So, white has done the same on the queen side. So black might as well counter it the same way. And in the future, if black manages to get his knight to e5 and dislodge this queen, it would be, I think, very powerful for black advancing his pawns. So he goes knight b6. Vishy has to retreat his queen. Very nice queen on c4. He goes queen to d3. And now I think black has to probably trade the dark square bishop.
Yeah, actually that's the reason Vishy played king b1, so that for bishop g5 you can maybe go bishop d6. But black anyway has this option of going knight b6, queen d3, and then bishop g5. He'll force the trade.
Right. Meanwhile, Anshika is asking who gets a diamond membership for that person.
Nobody, no. How can we give diamond membership for wrong answers? But I have a question, Sri. Instead of king b1, was h4 a good move here? Like preventing bishop g5. And if you take on h4, I go queen d5 and queen h5. I transfer my queen to the king side.
Yeah, this is certainly a move that deserves consideration. h4, advancing that way. Meanwhile, Pavel has played his rook to e8 in this position. And this is the live position that we have right now, which is also still, I think, quite double-edged, Soumya. Because it's not so easy for black to advance his pawns. He's quite far away to do this. And Vishy starts now with your move, h4. Or as Divya patented it.
Chubby King has a good, very nice, sweet message for Srinath, so I'm going to read it out. Grandmaster Srinath saw your early career train interview with Sagar. It is amazing how clear you were in your thoughts and all the great sacrifices and decisions you took. Nice life lessons for all. Thank you. That's so sweet.
Thank you, Chubby King.
Chubby King. It's a nice name.
I know.
So we had to talk about, no? H4, this position we had discussed. I mean, slightly different version.
Yeah, but the idea remains the same. And now I think Vishy has some momentum going on.
So, for example, now black's plan could be a5, a4, and expand on the queen side. But we have to see how that works out. Meanwhile, let's count. Like maybe we have to try and count now. Let's go g5, knight f5, rook g1, and g6, h5, g6. So it's basically 5 moves.
Krato has kind of made the countings not so relevant though by playing c4. So he's offering queen trade. And this is actually a pretty strong move if it works. His point, I guess, is he wants to go into this endgame, Soumya, bishop c5, attacking this pawn, rook d2. and now pawn to c3, and he's potentially claiming compensation here. It makes a lot of sense from his perspective, trying to liquidate the game into an endgame, because now black has a lot more control. The previous position, it was a wild game. It could have been anyone's game, but now going into the endgame, he gets a lot of control. And
That's a
yeah, rook
wise
d2
decision by Ponkratov to go into the end game and try, and that was his strategy earlier also, that he was making moves which were very unpredictable, like which were not easy to foresee for Vishy. I don't know. I mean, as these are not the first moves that come to your mind. Like you don't think of giving up the pawn actually. So it forces your opponent to think, and I think that was his strategy in the first game also. That is what saved him. So yeah, it's a good decision by black. But I think white is still good only in this endgame. For example, let's go rook d2, protect our pawn. We don't give it up. And for c3, we don't open too many files in front of our king. So we go rook e2, we protect, we keep
Yeah,
everything
but now
protected.
c takes b2.
And now knight a4, knight c3 is a big threat. I see what you mean.
Yeah, and exactly. So let's say king into b2, knight a4 check. The king moves, and now after knight c3, lot of pieces are under attack, and
That's
he
pretty
just
much
goes rook d
tactical.
d1. Forcing this, he just goes rook d d1, bishop into f2. Again, makes a lot of sense from Vishy's perspective. Rook d2 was not giving white good prospects. And now what do we do against the threat of
I
bishop
like
into g3?
I like e5. I like e5.
Yeah, black is still, I think, not totally out of danger. I think it's still game on. Uh, e5, e5 looks nice, and Vishy has played it, in fact.
Yeah, because
So
now we are actually threatening knight e4, trapping the bishop. So he probably needs to take on g3. I mean, what else? He can't allow a knight to come to d6 and
yeah,
be
but this
aggressive.
also allows white some nice prospects, no? Rook coming to d6.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe he'll go rook d8 now and try to exchange as many pieces as possible. So rook d8, rook d6, and just yeah, rook d8, rook d6, take, and put a blockade on d7 with his knight.
Right. This could be a direction, but I think this offers white some chances, some pretty decent practical chances. The bishop, the passed pawn, but it has gone according to this direction. Soumya, exactly, takes rook e8 has been played, and it makes me wonder why you aren't playing in this tournament. You're pretty much guessing all the moves of players since yesterday.
That's so sweet. That's a very sweet compliment. It's just that it's slightly easier to guess moves in other people's games than make good moves on your own.
Yeah, it might be so, but it's still, I think, pretty impressive the amount of strong moves you have been making on stream, making in the commentary so far.
Thank you, but I hope all of it works out for Vishisa over here, and somehow it matches in
Yeah,
our tendency.
I think start predicting bad moves for black from here, because we really need that
We
going.
should do that.
Yeah, it has again gone into this direction. Rook d6, rook into d6, e into d6. Knight d7 is what we had seen here, but black doesn't have to do it immediately because d7 is not a threat. Instead, he goes f6. It's important for black to try and get to the pawn as quickly as possible, because if white gets some time, let's say he attacks the b4 pawn with some rook e1, rook into e1, bishop into e1. If white has time, then he can create some potential chances on this side. So in a situation like this, if black is able to get the d6 pawn back, his chances to make a draw is higher. So Vishy goes rook d1, knight d7 on the board, and now it's time to start attacking black's pawns.
Right. So Meanwhile, do you want to have a quick look at Raunak versus Topalov? We haven't looked at that game for a really long time, and Topalov is down to 1 minute, as I see on my.
Really?
Yeah, that's the time.
6 minutes. It shows 6 minutes
Oh,
too.
maybe there was a
Yeah.
there was a glitch because I was surprised to see him down to 1 minute. What do you think of this position? It's crazy. It
It
looks
looks good.
great.
Actually, I think a great call to go towards this game, Soumya, because we might potentially see the winning moment of Raunak in this match. He might finish it off in game three. And I can feel that confidence from Raunak. In general, he's a very he's a fierce person, and that also shows in his confidence. And he probably, I mean, you have a lot of respect for a legend like Topalo, former world champion, but it's also a highly motivating game for Ronak, and he would be very pleased to win this match, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And I actually also feel the same about Ronak as you said, because I was with him when he made his third GM norm in Isle of Man, 2019. Or was it 18, 18 or 19? And I remember he would go and make a draw with, you know, all these 2750 players even with such ease, with so much confidence. He was fearless. He was fearless, and every day he was playing a new opening, trying something new. Go, the game would actually end up in his preparation rather than his experienced opponent. That's how he made his third grandmaster now. So yeah, I have noticed this in him from for a really long time that he is fearless when it comes to facing anybody. Even his game against Vishy Anand actually in 2018 when he was still an international master, first round of Isle of Man, it became so famous because of the way he played. He lost that game, but Anand was all praises for this young boy who gave him a tough time in the first round itself.
Yeah, I do remember that one. Ronak was, he played superbly against Vishy, and he had a better position. Vishy managed to win that one, but it was very clear that he was a very exciting talent. And now in this position, White's problem is his king is just stuck in the center. I think Ronak can even reply back with knight into e5 or start with something like rook f8. And there's no safe place for this king. The king is just stuck. So Ronak has to just compose himself and find the winning sequence here, the closing sequence. Ronak hasn't had the best of tournaments since his Olympiad, and potentially because of fatigue, because he had played two tournaments already before the Olympiad, and then after the Olympiad, he went immediately to the Abu Dhabi Masters. He went to Dubai Open, and he hasn't had the best of performances post that. But it's very clear that he has immense potential, and if he just keeps up that peak performances without having those dips in form, he will be in 2700 club in no time.
Yeah, I also feel like he's slightly underrated perhaps for his current strength in terms of classical rating. I feel he's very well prepared. He works really hard on his chess, and I feel like if he gets his kind of positions, he's extremely confident. So I also feel like it's probably just a matter of time till he gets the results coming in as per his strength. And over here in this position, I actually see three options. One was rook f8, as you pointed out, and one is a move like g3 also comes to mind. Just breaking open uh, white's shelter and opening some files, opening some squares. Creating the g4 square for the black queen to enter into. And there is also a move like rook a e8, a very calm move, threatening knight into e5 and asking white what is he planning to do.
Yeah, simple but powerful, very effective. And Ronak is taking his time, and after taking his time, he has taken knight into e5. He chose one of the several attractive moves at his disposal. And although he has only 2 minutes remaining, his position is so commanding. Once again, if Raunak wins this game, he takes it. He takes it. He goes to the next round. Queen into e5, queen into d2 check taken, king f1, and now I expect rook f8, queen into c7 check, king a7, and brace for the winning moments, and we'll witness Raunak's celebration, I think, very soon. He's also very animated in his celebration.
He is a huge fan of cricket, and I think he's a little influenced by the way cricketers celebrate, very expressive, and they want to show their happiness, they want to show their passion on the field, the same way Ronak, I think, also wants to show his happiness and his passion on the field.
And Soumya, during the Olympiad, someone asked this question to Raunak in the press conference that there are these top players like Magnus and Fabiano. Are you happy playing in the same hall as them? And Raunak answered by saying that, yes, it's nice to play in the same hall, but I would be happier when I beat them. And here he is already beating a former world champion and one of the legends of the game with such a convincing scoreline. If he manages to get this, he's probably going to do it in just 3 games.
G3 is over, no? G3, queen into B2, we win a piece. That is one of the many ways in which black can win this game right now.
Yeah, one of the many ways. That the choices are a bit annoying. It's nicer if there is, I think, one clear way to win. But we can trust Raunak with this. I think maybe he'll just play knight to d5 and defend the c7 pawn.
Multi-purpose move. Yeah, knight d4 is fantastic. Actually, I would actually go for g3 if I see it in this position, because I'm just a pawn piece up after queen c7, king a7, queen g3, queen b2, and even b3 and a3 are falling. So
yeah. Once again, Raunak taking his time. Taking his time slowly. Meanwhile, I'm hearing good news from the Vishy game as well. Vishy seems to have a better position, but we'll just stick with this because I think we are going to witness the end moments of not just this game, but this match as well. And here, Raunak has just played G3. G3 is a good move.
Yeah, G3 is very clean. I think, I mean, he's just going to win a piece and he's going to win the game.
Yeah.
On the other hand, we will go to Anand's game once this is over. Anand sir is a pawn up in a rook ending, so good news over there as well. We will switch to that shortly, but let's just finish this game. We are quite sure that we are going to see this match end in this game itself.
Yep. Topalov with b3, the bishop on b2, he has to give up the bishop in the end, and Raunak chopping off that piece. As you mentioned earlier, Soumya, b3, a3, everything falling, and the white king is still very unsafe. The white king is still vulnerable, and black's pieces are poised towards white's king. Rook into c7 taken, a potential discovered attack there, but just king to a7 will take care of all those threats. Meanwhile, the white king will be the one in danger. Raunak almost playing like Nihal though in terms of his time management, taking his time, being sure about everything, and then making his
moves. But I do see, oh, rook c5, Topalov, what a fighter! Rook a5 checkmate is the threat. But there is a way, like simple way, like queen a3 to defend it, or rook g.
He wants mate. Queen e4 is coming, and then rook d2. Yeah, queen e4 check, f3, rook d2, king h3, rook f3, king g1, rook d1.
Rook f3 is blunder, rook a5.
Oh yeah, sorry. Rook f3 is blunder, yeah. Just rook d5 and then rook f3 in the next move.
Yeah. I think, yeah, rook d5 is a cool move. You have got the king in a very uncomfortable position, and now you defend the a5 pawn. And
what a way to win.
It's fantastic.
I know.
Very nice game, actually.
He takes queen into d5. I would have preferred knight into d5, but okay. Queen into d5. I think f4 will be played now.
I think he just wants to pick up b3.
Oh, rook g8 coming. Rook g8. King g2, rook g8.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, King g2, rook g8, and it's GG. And there we have it, chat. Raunak has defeated the former world champion Vasilin Topalov. Raunak OP in the chat. He wins that game. Not a lot of animated celebrations. I think he's oh yeah, just a little bit of this.
He did a fist bump. He did a fist bump. He was happy, but he wanted to also show some restraint. I think he's maturing.
Yeah, I think he's saving it for the future matches. Raunak will play the winner of the match between MVL, right? Anish. He'll play the winner of the
winner between Anish and Juvenjun. So let's see what happens in that match. We have to wait to find out who will be his opponent in round 2. But congratulations to Raunak Sadhwani for an amazing win against an amazing player. Vasilin Topalov, former world champion. Never an easy task to defeat him, and he has defeated him in a match. What a way to enter round 2.
Yeah, we will back to the Vishy's game, and it looks like Vishy. We are just back at the moment when Vishy got a winning position here.
We got back at the right time.
Yeah, but how does it win here? It's a very tricky endgame, and Vishy has only 30 seconds.
I mean, how do you stop the pawns? Like h6? Okay, he has played b6.
b6. I think b6 was important. Because h6 allows rook h2, and then there was the threat of rook h1 and c2. So with b6, Vishy kind of takes care of that. And rook b2, I think he will probably go.
Oh, we can play king d1 here.
Yeah, this is important. This is so important. Rook into b6, there's rook g6 check, and then this pawn runs away. So b6 was a very important move, which initially was not so easy to find. But Vishy does it, takes his time, senses the moment, takes his time, and plays it like a champion. Now, Pavel is going for the h pawn. He wants to meet king d2 with rook to h1. But what's going on here? King d2, rook h1? Yeah, I don't think. I think that was an important moment once again. I think Vishy had to start. It was not so clear. I think he had to go some rook c7 there. He had to cut it off. But it was not so easy. It was very tricky. There was only one way to win. Yeah, getting back to that moment, c2. This was the point. If this h5 pawn was captured, then it goes towards a draw. This was the situation, and Vishy had to be very precise here. There was one move which is winning. I'm not quite sure which one it is though. Oh, I don't understand.
No, I also don't understand.
I saw the computer's move, but I don't understand yet. The computer's moves king d3 song, yeah. Rook h1, and now what? What's the difference? What's the difference between the king on d2 and the king on d3? Oh, okay. So b7 now. b7 is the winning move here.
That is so hard.
This is insane. This is insanely hard to find.
This is extremely hard to find. I mean, it is like a study actually. White has a lot of options in the initial position. Even the one we saw, like he could also think of giving rook g6 check, for example. And it's not clear. Like king d7 is probably the only move for rook g6. Because if you go king c5, I go king d2. And after rook h1, king c2. Okay, this is also a draw.
Yeah, because the rook comes and defends like this. Yeah, it was. I think it was practically very tough for White here, but it's extremely unfortunate. Vishy really created some chances. We were looking at this endgame for a long time, and It felt like white had very good chances because he has the bishop and a passed pawn. He created that chance here. He created a passed pawn on the queen side, and it was always going to be Vishy playing for the win here. He got this better endgame. Uh, the c4 pawn was a lonely pawn, but Pavel defended extremely well in this endgame, and the thing he did really well was to play super fast. And I guess this was a critical moment when Vishy should have taken. Oh, he should have played b3, it seems, not b4. The point being that after b3, rook e7, king b1, which is what happened in the game, rook e2, rook c5. And now with the pawn on b4 in the same position, black had this resource rook e4. And this
No,
is not.
no, I think the problem with b3 is rook e1 check, not rook e2.
Yeah, rook e1 check is
That's the
also
reason
winning
he
for white
played
according to the
b4.
computer.
I mean, I'm sure that's the reason he played b4, so that after rook e1 check, king
Right.
a2, king rook to c1 or rook e2, we have king b3 in this position. Whereas when the pawn is on b3, we don't have this resource.
True, true, true. Apparently, this question is also a big win for white. He played b5, rook b4 check. King c1 was a mistake. He had to go king a2. But this is such a natural move, king c1. But the winning technique, rook b2 check, king a3, rook into c2, and now king b3, and you just take this pawn and this pawn queens. Whereas the position that Vishy got in the game, the king is not able to support the b5 pawn, and the rook is able to protect the b5 pawn, but it's not able to take it forward on its own. So this pawn on c3 was proving to be a deterrent. And normally you would be able to just come in here and collect it, but black had this defensive resource with the rook coming to b2, d2 in fact.
Yes.
Yeah. Rook d4 check and rook d2 incoming. So this was the problem.
Yeah.
And
so this is
with
the
this,
group pairing, total pairing. I think we are waiting for the fourth game between Vishy Anand versus Ponkratov Pavel. This is a must-win game for Anand. If Anand sir wins this game, which we are hoping he'll be able to do it with black, then we go into Armageddon. And as we saw yesterday, this is a special Armageddon this time with a slightly different set of rules. White gets a 15 minutes flat, while black gets to bid for time. Both the players get to bid for a certain time. Whoever bids for the lower time gets the option of playing black. So he gets draw odds, but he also gets a much lesser time. So, for example, yesterday between Nihal and Rauf, Mamedov bid for 12 minutes with black, while Nihal bid for 11. So he got the black pieces, but he also got 11 minutes versus 15 for Mamedov with draw odds. So that is the tiebreak system in this tournament. I think it's quite special because we actually get a chance to choose which color we want to play. In case we want to play white, then we simply choose a higher time in the bidding so that our opponent is more likely to win the bidding process. We are definitely hoping that Anand sir can turn this around and come back strongly with the black pieces in this round. Do stay with us.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And we have another little break in between for the games now. Uh, a 6-minute break, I guess, starting now. Anand has to
Jockey
win.
asks a question which is actually quite interesting. I mean, I think we can just have a look at Anand sir's game once more because he asks, what is the difference between king d2 and king d3? Very good question, actually. Let's just point it out.
Yeah. So this was the position. No, wait. This wasn't the. Yeah, this was the position. The evaluation bar is so slow.
कपिल चौधरी कल भी हमारे साथ थे और बहुत अच्छा प्रश्न पूछा है। यहाँ पे किंग d2 अगर खेलेंगे तो ड्रॉ हो जाएगी, जैसे हमने गेम में देखा। द गेम कंटिन्यूड रूक टू h1, किंग इनटू c2, रूक h5, b7 एंड रूक d5, और फिर किंग c6 आकर रूक इनटू b7, और वो पॉन चली गई और ड्रॉ हो गई। बट इंस्टेड ऑफ दिस, अगर white king d3 खेलते or black would have continued the same way as in the game, rook h1, then white actually plays b7 here, which is the winning move. And now c1 queen is not a check with the king being on d3 instead of d2. So we can play b8 queen check and we will win this game. King cannot go to c6 or c5. King cannot go to the c file because of rook c7, and you simply win the queen on c1. And if you go king d5 or king e6, white will basically corner the black king with queen d8 check, for example, or rook d7 check. Both of these moves will win for white.
Yeah, I think by now most of our chat will be aware of the rolling checkmate, and here you can actually kind of do a rolling checkmate, a version of it. Meanwhile, in the other games, noted back Abdusattorov is through to the next stage with a 2.5 win over Boris Gelfand. Just like Raunak, he also wins it in 3 games, and he will face the winner of this matchup between Vishy Anand and Anand-Ponkratov. And Anish has won for the first time in the match after 2 draws. He won in this fashion. This was the final position. He has just played his rook to b8, and he won the game with this in an Italian, where which is what Anish recommends in his 1e4 course. So Anish, following his course and once again doing what he does best, winning chess games and getting social media engagement whilst doing it. And I think this was a nice game by Anish though. A very, very, I love how he places his pawns starting from here. Pawns on b3, c4, and d5, just gaining control in the center. And then slowly goes on to outplay his opponent in by targeting the d6 pawn. He first takes the d6 pawn and then he storms open. Actually, we can ask chat this question: what should white play at this point? White to play and win. And I think we can do a diamond membership giveaway for the first person to point out the right move. Kapil Chaudhary says, great explanation, Soumya. Thanks. And
well, I'm glad I could explain that very, very difficult endgame with a lot of help from the computer, of course. And while the chat thinks on this position, I just want to share that MVL also has gone through to the next stage. He won his match against Iturizaga by winning the first 2 games and making a draw in the third one. So it's 2.5 half, and the match is over. And Anish, of course, as Srinath explained, has a lead in his match against Vengeance.
Indeed.
There is an interesting question in the chat which I also had yesterday. Yesterday, while we were discussing the tie break and waiting for Nihal to bid, Meranjit asks, "What if both players bid 15 minutes in the Armageddon?" Just curious. And I was just thinking about it because we do have information that they will make a rebid. They will bid again, both the players. But what if the next time also they bid the same time? So it's actually possible to just keep bidding at the same time. So I think at some point they will resort to tossing a coin, because it can't just, I mean, at some point the game needs to start. So I think that's what will happen. Yeah. Kapil Chaudhary asked, can someone bid, say, 11 minutes 42 seconds, or does it have to be in full minutes only? I think they can bid in seconds also. You can bid for 11 minutes 42 seconds.
Really? I think that would be super strange.
Really? 42 versus 43.
14 minutes 59 seconds I'll bid for. Hoping that my opponent bid for 15.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, we need to check. Actually. While chat thinks, I will check on that and get back.
Yeah, chat is coming with a lot of answers. Nice to see that, but we don't have the best move yet. Anish, I don't think Anish will be too pleased with this chat. Come on, we have to show him that at chess.com India, we are made of stronger stuff. So a lot of answers here. Am I making a mistake though? But I have Stockfish in front of me, so I feel very confident and empowered that I'm not making a mistake.
That's one thing to be confident about, for sure. Yeah, we have information that players can bid in seconds, and this is Anish versus Venjun that is on the board.
Yeah, the next game has begun. We can still go back to that position until we get the right answer.
Anand sir's game is yet to begin, right? We are still waiting for the players to be ready.
It actually just began. So okay. I'll just tell the move here. Knight into e5 was the move played by Anish, and then he just stormed through Black's king and won the game in just 5 more moves. So let's get back to the live action, and Vishy has started with the black pieces. He started with e4, c5, knight f3, a6.
Nice choice. This was seen in Fabiano versus Rajabo in the candidates, actually. So not such an unusual opening anymore. But yeah, very interesting choice by Anand sir in a must-win game. So it's basically a Morixi bind structure that he's gotten into, with white having a bind with pawns on e4 and c4, controlling the d5 and b5 squares. And black will try to develop his knight to d7 and then put his bishop on b7 now, get the rook to c8, get the other rook to e8, queen to c7. These are the structures that black takes. And g4 actually is good news for black, because white doesn't commit so fast in a Morixi bind, right?
Yeah, very strange move, Soumya. His king is in the center. He has played rook c1, and instead of playing bishop e2 and castle, he goes g4. I think it's not a very wise decision by Pavel here.
Extremely unusual move. I have never seen this move in in this structure. Usually white simply goes bishop d3 and short castle, and develops his pieces, then tries to put the pawn to b4. g4 is not usual in this structure at all. Actually, black wants white to overcome it himself, and then he'll at some point break into the center with d5, sacrifice a pawn, open lines for both his bishops.
This crazy play. What is it doing?
King d1, is it?
Yeah.
We have king d1 on the board, guys.
I mean, he wants to go to b1, but this is just such a stupid decision by him, I think. Starting with g4 and then doing it in 3 moves, what he can do in 1 move.
g4 could have been a mouse slip.
I really don't think so. I think he just forgot about something for a moment, and then he realized, because I could just see it from his expressions, and this is really good news for us. he just had a brain fade moment, I think, at that point. And Vishy has been keeping pressure throughout the match. He had a better position in the first game. He had a better position in the third game, and I think he in as the match progresses, Vishy's chance keeps getting better and better.
Touch wood. Let's hope for that. And I really feel that, okay, first of all, to get into a awkward position as white in a must in a game where you actually only need a draw is itself a psychological disadvantage. He's already probably feeling uncomfortable, Pavel, in this position. And I think Vishy sir, if he just plays usually, he's going to take advantage. Now, knight into g4 is a move, knight into c4 is a move. Both the pawns are hanging.
Yeah, I think he'll take on
Understand
g4.
White's play very well in this game. Just so difficult to understand what's happening. I think what happened is that g4, something definitely went wrong with g4. He was unhappy with his position, so he decided to at least safeguard his king, go to the other side, and he just wants to play fast and put some psychological pressure on black, perhaps.
Yeah, he wants to open the G file. I can understand what he's trying to do. He's just trying to steamroll through on the king side, but it wouldn't work so well if white is losing the dark square bishop, because it becomes very easy to defend the G7 point in a situation like this. So Vishy can actually take the G4 pawn also, or he can also take the c4 pawn and open up the b file. This is also very nice and pleasant for black.
Right. Parikshit is saying that g4 has been played by Van Forest against Hansen. Okay, but that doesn't make it a good move.
Yeah, I don't think it can be in this position. I really doubt so. Also, combining g4 with king d1, king c2, king b1, it was quite bad, and he, I think, instantly realized it, and he pretty soon it is affecting him even further, realizing how what a mess up he has done.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know what you mean. Like, basically, you are, once you make a mistake, you are regretting it for at least 20 more moves going ahead. So you're making moves based on the decision you took earlier. Like, you just want to sort of cover up for it.
Yeah,
Even knight c4 actually I like now the more I look at it. But yeah, knight g4 makes a lot of sense in this position. Um, let's see. By the way, no one guessed 95 or what, or they did. And there were some people who guessed 95 for your James
yeah,
Fisher.
but I'm not sure if it happened after we. I think it happened after we showed the move.
No, that's unfortunate.
No,
Okay.
I don't think it's either mouse slip nor is it prep. Pretty sure it's not. Not in. I can't imagine that happening in this position. But if it did, it's probably. I don't think Pavel was at least prepared with this. Uh, It feels like a mix-up. It feels like something went wrong there for white for sure.
Yeah, sometimes things just go wrong in your head. Like there's something you get confused about something else is going on in your head, and you suddenly play a move which you didn't intend to play. You know, that happens. So I think that's what has happened here. Knight g4 looking very good for black, after knight e3. And as Srinath pointed out, with the dark square bishop gone, black will have a pair of bishops, an extra pawn. What's not to like?
Yeah, what's not to
Yes,
like?
chat. Let's go. Let's like the stream. and reach 250 likes today. We have someone very special joining us in a few minutes. So let's like the stream, all of us, so that it can reach more and more people.
Absolutely, chat. Do smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and we should do this at a time when Vishy is about to win the fourth game on demand and force an Armageddon. So far, we have 2 out of 2 amongst Indians. Nihal is through to the next match, next round. Raunak is through to the next round, and Vishy's all set to join. So good news here for the Indian fans. And we have favorites in the upcoming matches as well. Arjun, a big favorite in his match against David Paravian, with it a big favorite against Alexei Sarana. And I think Mitraba is the only person again who is going to be the underdog in the Indian matchups. And so far, India has lived up to its billing. It's 2-0 so far, and we are on the way towards 3-0. What do you do here, though? How do you try and convert? Are we going for b4? Are we going for queen e5? Yeah, queen e5 played by Vishy. As expected, going towards opening up the a file, the b file, putting the queen on a better square.
Nice move. Black can also think of going rook c8 or rook b8 on the next move. And we have a very special guest with us right now. The winner between Raunak Sadhwani and Vaseline Topalov. Raunak is here. Congratulations, Raunak.
Thank you.
Great match by you. What a confident play throughout the match. We enjoyed it.
Thank
How
you.
are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling very good. Like I was not sure to play with g5 when I just need to make a draw, and which would most likely seal the match. But this is what I had prepared before the match, so I said, okay, I'll go for it.
Oh, so you expected him to perhaps go for English in one of the games?
Yeah, I expected him he'll do this if he loses the game, and that happened.
Very, very
It was
confident
some
approach.
brilliant, indeed, brilliant prediction there. And have you been following the other matches which are going on, Ronak? Did you get time to catch up?
Yeah, I was following all the games. Vishy's match is interesting.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think he shouldn't have drew the first game. It was completely winning. Yeah, that is
Yes.
one thing. Now, okay, he played a fighting opening, but it's not easy to win with black.
We thought so, but I think Pavel made some incredible moves. He started with g4 here and then continued on with king d1 in the next move.
I didn't
And
see this.
yeah, and now this is the live position that we have right now, where black is, I think, completely crushing it, which is just crushing it.
Yeah, king d1. Okay, you cannot do this against Vishy.
Absolutely. And now f into g6 taken. I think black will just go on and reply with f into g6 because that will help this bishop come on to f6. And it just, black is just killing white, no? Vishy is just absolutely crushing it. And Pavel has just had an implosion, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, a bit strange. Yeah? He's white. If I was in his place, I would just make a quick draw somehow. Somehow just try to bail it out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, but Pavel doesn't have that repertoire, yeah? He just doesn't have those openings to play for draw or to keep things stable. He has gone ahead and sacrificed a piece. Soumya, I'm sorry, you're saying?
No, Shri. I was just continuing on what you guys were discussing. As Ronak pointed out, someone else with white would play something solid and definitely not play a move like g4. So that itself shows that something has gone wrong. I mean, he just needs to make a draw. Why would you? A chat calling Ronak the king of prep. What are his thoughts? Okay, this is very important question by chat. We want to know what are your thoughts on this, Ronak?
I wouldn't say king or something. I just feel like my strongest part of my game is opening, and I'm happy it happened. Yeah.
But is this the first time you have won against a world champion, or
Actually, yeah. I didn't notice it, but yes, it's the first time. Yeah.
it's the beginning?
Yeah.
But certainly not the last. Yeah.
Hopefully.
That's fantastic. And what, like, even the second game actually was a fantastic game by you. With I think his C5, as we were discussing, me and Srinath, his C5 was the point where the game turned in your favor, and you, after that, just streamrolled and actually trapped his queen in the end.
Yeah. Opening went a bit wrong. Like I forgot that I had to play queen b3 and d4. I thought it was in some other position. I messed it up, and
All
then
right.
I realized after playing that now he gets c6. But then I was like, okay.
Right.
Yeah, he got the d5 break on time, which is
Usually he has to go bishop b8 and then do this, but here he got
right.
everything.
Right. We will surely discuss it in further detail once all the matches are over. Yeah,
Meanwhile, are there some threats against Black's king here? Bishop d3 has been played. Is some bishop at g6 something to worry about, Raunak? Or everything under control? Queen d2.
Oh,
wow, Queen
but
D2 is a
bishop
nice.
e8 could have been a bit better just in case.
Yeah, Bishop E8.
G6. But I feel okay, black should win, yeah.
Yeah,
Should
bishop e8. Maybe it can just continue with some rook e1 and some rook, trying to get the rook to the h file.
No, I mean after ed5, bishop e8, you mean rook e1. Yeah?
Ah, okay. Direct bishop e8.
Yeah.
Yeah. True. I see what you're saying.
Now
True.
b3 makes the most sense and it was played. Yeah, it should be a comfortable win, I would say. Like queen can
Rook
go to
c1
h6.
played by Pavel.
Wow. This is like
He's just
What?
going all in.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try to finish this. What do we do now? Do we take on A2 first, or we do like, what are our options? Because E7 is hanging. There is a threat of Bishop G6. We can't be too casual. We need to calculate and solve this problem. I would go for something like Queen A2, but then the problem is, what if we needed our queen on D2 and we have already played it to A2?
Yeah.
The
Like
problem with what?
Like right now is probably a good time to stop and calculate rather than automatically play queen A2, because he plays king C1 and then we realize we wanted our queen to D2, not to, and we have already played queen A2. A move like bishop
Right.
G5 comes into consideration because the E1 rook is hanging, and we also prevent bishop G6, and we also save our bishop.
And also threaten checkmate in the process.
Yeah, we like cover everything basically.
Yeah, bishop g5, white would be forced to play a3.
AB is also an option. No?
Yeah, AB is also an option. And AB is in fact a better option. But
to be honest, I would be a bit afraid to play this with black, yeah, even though I know it's winning, but it's not so comfortable.
But like, for example, queen D2 now. I mean, AB queen D2.
Rook e2, just queen f4. Yeah,
Queen F4. Yeah.
yeah, should win.
yeah, options are plenty for black. And rook e4, there's queen f6 now.
So I thought maybe he'll take queen F4, bishop F4, rook E7. But we at least have bishop E8 in that position.
Yeah, he's played bishop g5. It is on the board.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay, b3 is forced. Queen
AB3
d2.
is forced, indeed. Soumya has been predicting all the moves, by the way, in all the games so far. Your game also.
That's nice.
Raunak game, what did I predict?
G3.
Ah.
Oh, G3 didn't happen, yeah?
Yeah, he never played G3. Raunak's game, I couldn't predict any moves.
No, I played g3, but yeah, towards the end I played.
Queen d2 on the board. Yeah, I think we'll see that variation, which we were having a look at.
Yeah, rook e2, queen f4, and rook e4, queen f6, everything under control. Pavel potentially resigning.
Mm-hmm.
The Armageddon will be very interesting, actually.
What do you think? Vishy will go for white or black?
I would, against Ponkratov, I think I would bid like 11 or 10 minutes even. But I want black.
Why?
Because his openings are a bit shaky. So if I can just equalize out of the opening, then it should be not a big deal.
Right. But I think Vishy should go for white because, firstly, Pavel doesn't really have draw in his chess. I mean, either way. So I think getting draws is not particularly a big advantage. And secondly, Vishy wouldn't be as used to playing without increment online. So I think it will be good for him to have more time, start with more time than have less time.
Yeah, that's a better thing practically, yeah, because he doesn't have this experience in scrambles.
Yeah, online.
Yeah, online.
Also, it was interesting what Nihal said yesterday, which is, I mean, he was speaking about his opponent Rauf Mamedov, that Mamedov's reporter is not very solid. So Nihal later said that perhaps it was a good idea to take white because even if his opponent had black, they wouldn't know how to play for a draw. So anyway, it's not a big advantage for them to get black. So in the with the same, I think is true in this case also, that Pavel's reporter is not exactly solid. So he would play a win with black as well as with white. So you might as well take the extra time, no?
Yeah, here it's also a bit random since you bid. Yeah, you don't know what your opponent has bid and what he wants. So it's a bit
Yeah, but if you want, I think if you want white, you can just bid for like 14 minutes, 59 seconds or
what if the
14 minutes,
opponent
40
says, like,
seconds.
14 minutes? Yeah.
It's like, what if your opponent says 14 minutes? But I would say, if you have white and you back yourself to win, if you just want white, you can take this.
You can take white. Yeah, that's true.
So in this case, maybe it would be relatively safe for Vishy to go for something like 12 minutes, 30 seconds. 13 minutes.
Yeah.
I think Pavel would certainly bid for like 12 minutes or 11 minutes.
But would he also want black, knowing that his openings aren't very solid?
I think he will back himself to flag without increment.
Yeah.
He has a lot of experience playing online.
Yeah.
Just bishop f5 now?
Yeah, bishop f5 was the move that I was also thinking about because you want to exchange that piece which is creating so many problems. You know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Bishop f5 looks good.
Yeah, bishop f6, queen c2, bishop g7 maybe even.
Yeah, that's what he's going for.
But rook e7, you might have to play bishop f5, I don't know. Like the threat is bishop g6, rook g7.
Right. He just goes rook e8.
Achha.
Yeah, fair enough.
Sorry, what was happening for bishop g6?
Rook e2.
Acha, rook e2, bishop f7, king f7, queen g6, and king e7. So black is fine.
Yep.
Right. So that was the point. Rook e8, rook f2, and Wow. Queen.
Queen d4, bishop g6, you can just take fg6.
Yeah, and queen g6, bishop is guarded after bishop g7. Yes.
Yeah.
Looks clean enough, this line.
Yep.
In
And he's gone for queen d4.
Huh.
I don't know if Vishy followed all the Armageddons yesterday. That could be really useful. For me, it was very useful. Like
Oh,
different situations.
What was the other Armageddon apart from the Nihal Raw?
Martinez, Alcantara. So their match was so strange. So 4 games and 4 black wins.
Wow.
what?
Every time white loses, and next game he wins with black on demand.
Right. Nice. And then what happened finally? Black won the
Eventually, white
Armageddon?
won. Eventually, white won. So
Acha.
Martinez won.
Acha.
Against Kirill Alexenko?
Yeah.
So
I
I
was
think
watching bits and pieces of that match.
a resignation is coming in, because what else if not queen g6? Okay, he's thinking. Oh, he's played it. Okay.
Bishop g7,
Bishop g7,
rook
rook
d2,
d2.
bishop f5 check.
And queen g1, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
whatever.
There we
even-
have it.
Yeah.
And resignation and Vishy OP in the chat. Vishy has won on demand with the black pieces and forces Armageddon. A well-deserved win after exerting pressure throughout the match.
Much needed. He must be feeling very relieved to get this win in, and I feel he's going into the Armageddon with a lot of confidence. And yeah, let's see how that's going to turn out. What color he chooses. Lots of questions in our mind. Raunak, what were you saying about learning from the Armageddon matches? What exactly do you mean by that?
Like, if you go by stats, yesterday, every board, like every Armageddon game, white was in full control. 2 of them white won, and Nihal only won with black, but Rauf was completely winning at one point. So maybe
Right.
that way white is preferable. But I don't know. I always have this bias towards black in Armageddon. So I don't
Have you? Do you have much experience playing in Armageddon?
know. Yeah. Like whenever I played black in some tiebreak or something in Armageddon, I mostly won that game or it drew. I never lost so far.
Oh, nice. That's useful to know. And that's a very good thing, actually. You get draws as well, and you also sometimes manage to win with lower time. So it's very nice. Shall we quickly look at Raunak's games, since he's here and we get to analyze them with him before
Yeah, absolutely. But before that, the game between Ju and Jun and Anish is still going on, and Raunak will play the winner of this match. And on that note, Raunak, what are your thoughts about this matchup? I think Anish is set to go through, which means you're likely to face Anish in the next stage of the event.
Yes. It will be interesting to play him in a match. I always played him like one game or something in Rapid Championship Title Tuesday. It will be interesting. I will try to give
How has your matchups been so far with Anish? I do remember a win for you, I think with the black pieces, but aside from that, I don't remember the other games.
My results haven't been great against him. I lost him in World Blitz, and last time we played in Rapid Championship, I lost, but every time I got black. So yeah.
now you'll
Right.
get 2 whites at least.
Yeah, now I have 2 whites at least.
Absolutely. So what are your thoughts about the match, and how do you rate your chances?
It will be an interesting match. Of course, he's the favorite, but I feel if I play my best chess, I can beat him.
Right. And so this is a situation we have Anish leading 2-1, and he needs just to draw with the black pieces, but he's in fact winning and has an unlosable position. Soumya, I'm leaving it to you for the questions about Raunak's games.
Yeah, do we have them on the screen? Like, can we bring up Raunak's games on the screen? Maybe the
Yeah, just give me a moment.
right. Right. Yeah. We are waiting for to get the games on the screen. So I'm not sure how much time we will have. So I was thinking maybe we will start with Ronak's best game so that at least we cover that one. Which one would you like to cover, Ronak?
Last one was the best one, but
Yeah.
first one was also pretty interesting. I missed a chance.
All right. Actually, we enjoyed watching your last game, so maybe we can have a look at that first, and if we have more time, then we can have a look at the rest.
Sure.
Nice. And how are you? Like usually, you get the whole day to prepare. So are you treating it like a tournament, or is it more relaxed? Like, what was your approach today?
I didn't prepare today at all. I just played a lot of cricket and I came back and played here. Yesterday I prepared whole day.
Oh, you prepared yesterday. Okay, nice, nice. Cricket gives you a lot of motivation. We were actually discussing this during the commentary as well, that you're a huge cricket
Yeah.
fan.
In the breaks, I was opening Crickbuzz and checking the test match scores. So okay.
Okay, that's
The
taking it
test
to
match
another.
between whom?
India A versus New Zealand A.
Wow. The matches between the 18 games.
I followed a little bit of cricket this time after maybe a gap of 7 years, 7, 8 years. I don't know. I followed the Asia Cup. It was a lot of fun. Uh, I thought, yeah, it was very interesting. Like after a long time, when you watch something now, it's like new only. But then after 2, 3 days, you get the hang of it. So
Yeah.
it's similar to how a lot of people who had left chess suddenly started following chess during the lockdown and started enjoying it again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
true,
were
true.
right. So, and what about this tournament? It has a huge prize fund as well, Ronak. Like the first prize is 1.6 crore rupees, and so many good players playing. So, is it more motivating? Like the prize money being so great, and you have already won 8 lakh rupees now since you have qualified to the second round. So, it does it add to the motivation?
Yeah, definitely. It gives a lot of motivation. You have something to play for, and that so you prepare much harder than in general.
Yeah, talking about that, how do you enjoy the format? Let's say comparing it to a classical over the board format, and now we have this rapid esport format, online rapid or online blitz. Do you have a preference towards any particular format?
I prefer this definitely than OTB, World Blitz, or World Rapid.
Wow,
This is
Ah,
much easier
that
to play and it's also more fun. World Rapid Blitz is too exhausting.
wow,
is it. Is
that's
it because of the number of games or just having to do things in a physical world?
Both, yeah. Number of games also it's quite high, and of course there you are more serious and you want to give your best in every game, and it's a high scoring event. Here you just need to score 2.5 to win a match.
oh, so
Right.
you're enjoying the knockout format as well. I see. So your game is on the screen. Let's go through it, Ronak.
Yeah.
So he opened with C4, and you mentioned that you had prepared this G5 idea, which is basically the Keres attack from black side, right?
Yeah, here the best way was to play like d4, ed4, knight d4, bishop d7. He needs to play b4 here, bishop g7, bishop b2. You exchange everything and go queen f6 and basically make a draw.
And a draw was sufficient for you to go through. So it
Yeah,
would have also worked out well for you, right?
yeah. I thought he'll go d4 and he might miss bishop d7 because that's a very tough move to make without knowing.
Yeah.
Right.
So g5 is
But
actually objectively the best move even in my opinion.
Nice.
right.
So he played h3 here, right?
Yeah.
He played h3, which is a natural move to make if you're not expecting g5.
So yeah, I played
Then
h5.
you continued h5.
He can do the same thing now, but if he didn't do it on the last move, he wouldn't do it on this move for sure.
Right. So he chose to go knight to c3,
Yeah, I
knight
was out
b.
of book already.
Yeah, you were on your own here.
Yeah.
So, and he made a strange decision here, right? What did he play? Knight b.
Knight d2.
Yeah, he played knight d2 here. We were surprised.
Yeah, I was expecting some d4 or something because anything apart from that didn't scare me.
Okay.
But d4 I would take and play g4, so looks fine.
Right.
We were actually also discussing bishop e2, bishop d2, queen c2, play like Keres attack. You know how black plays when
Yeah,
he
like
plays
reversed with
black
extra
black.
tempo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
it would
stuff.
have been an interesting game. I would try to attack, but of course it's an interesting game.
Yep. Meanwhile, I think we have an update with the Armageddon. Seems like Vishy did bid for 15 minutes, so he has the black pieces. This is the update we have. I'm not sure if it's.
No, how can Vishy beat for
What?
15?
Oh, that's. I don't know. I don't know if it's an official update though.
Okay.
But Anish has gone through to the next round, so we officially have a matchup between Anish against Raunak.
Fantastic.
And then
We are looking forward to that. Can we quickly finish this game? Do we have time for that to cover this game?
I think we do.
Okay, nice. So,
Knight d2,
Yeah.
bishop
I don't think it's on the
f5.
screen though. Yeah.
Yeah, now we have it.
I think bishop f5 was a clever way to play. I've seen this idea in many positions, but it feels a bit strange since you're blocking the f1, but you want to get the bishop to g6.
And have that pressure constantly after
Yeah.
castling long.
And then what did white play?
Queen c2 and now a5.
7, a5.
Yeah, I thought for a long time like a5 is probably not a great move, but I wanted to prevent b4 just in case, so I just played it.
Yeah, it's a curious decision because you're going to castle long in a couple of moves. So choosing to extend towards this side, but on the other hand, it definitely makes white's development much harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
d3.
unpleasant to play with white, I would say, this position because he's so passive.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah, lack of space. b3, queen d7, knight e4. The idea of knight f6 check. Bishop e7 takes care of everything. Bishop b2, long castle. g3, king b8, rook c1. And by this point already, I think black is pretty comfortable, no?
Yeah.
Bishop to g6, bishop e2.
Initially, I wanted to go rook e8, but then I saw he has g4. And you don't really want to allow g4.
Wow. Do you have any updates, Soumya?
Not yet. We are getting things confirmed, so we don't have an update at the moment. Okay, we do have an update. We do have an update that Vishy has bid for 7 minutes and Ponkratov bid for 14 and a half minutes. So Ponkratov will be bite with 15 minutes versus Vishy Anand with black pieces and 7 minutes. This was quite unexpected. We did not expect anyone to bid for 7 minutes in the Armageddon. So yeah, but we are going to see it.
That's a huge
shocking,
thing.
It's a huge time difference. It's more than half. It's like more than 50% of concession. But of course, you get the
Maybe
draw.
somehow like messed up something with the timings? Like he thought maybe 10 minutes is the starting time or something?
It could be actually. Or maybe he thought he will get 7 and the opponent will get 8. That's a.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's more likely. Yeah, that's more likely.
Yeah, it feels so. Meanwhile, the game will begin in just about 4 minutes or so. So,
Okay,
the
so
game will begin in 6 minutes. So we do have time to check that. We do have time to check the games. But this is indeed shocking. Meanwhile, another update: yesterday's bids, Kirill Alexeyenko bidding for 11 minutes 59 seconds, Jose Martinez 12, Lee Kwang 11:59, Eric Hansen 12, and Nihal for 11, Roth for 12 minutes. These are the bids from yesterday.
11
Back to the game.
9 versus 12 is crazy. I mean, to win like that. Okay, let's go to the game. G4. G4 is in. And yeah, you must be feeling very confident about your position here, no?
Yeah, he was playing very fast. That was my only concern, but my position
Okay.
was too good. So
Yeah, he has 9 minutes in this position. Okay, so then what happened? He took
H4 he played. F5 made sense.
and
Knight C5.
knight c5.
Takes F4.
Yeah, we were at this point and it looked clearly winning for black already. G into
Yeah,
f4, bishop d2.
he could have played Queen C2, and I wasn't sure what that position is.
Where
After
f4?
No. After exchanging everything.
So after take, bishop d3, queen
Yeah.
d3, and queen c2. And
Yeah,
defend.
here one option was like Queen D5, but then he goes E4, Queen D7, and F5, I thought.
Right, and now he's fine. His pawn structure has improved, and
Yeah, I'm still better. Like, I will try for some G3 or something, but I thought this could be one of his idea.
To defend.
Yeah, or Queen D5. Other option was like something like castle. Oh, sorry, not castle. Knight E4 first, and then the idea is to play F5. I wasn't sure what's going on. Could have been perhaps.
Yeah, here even something like into f4 feels tempting to going into this.
Yeah, it's a very good compensation. Sure. I wonder
Yeah.
if it's castle.
Yeah, but now again it looks so menacing, no?
Yeah, any day I would take
You
black.
start with rook e8 and then you
knight
get
f6.
g3.
Don't blunder
Oh, yeah.
knight. Let's, but yeah, we won't blunder that, but we will
A
go for this.
glimpse of candidates commentary.
So yeah, even queen d8 here and queen h4. I mean, we have many ways to continue, and we also now can go. You know, we have supported c7 and we go knight e5 next. So this is all good.
Sure. And even if I want to bail out at some point, I can do that since I will have white in the next game. So.
Yeah, literally in the driver's seat.
So yeah, what happened after this?
Queen c3.
Yeah, queen c3 he played. Right. Yeah.
Queen d7.
Queen d7, and now actually he's already in trouble.
Yeah, sure. He has to take f5. Should be lost otherwise anyway. Initially, I want rook
So I
e8.
wanted to ask, what was the difference between queen c2 and queen c3?
Like if you keep your queen on c2, you get an additional move to play knight e4. Yeah? With the queen on c3, I can take ef4. So this rook is pinned.
All right. Yeah, that's the main difference. Okay. So he took on e5, I guess, right?
I wanted to go rook e8 here, but then I saw knight e5 and it was more forcing, so I thought, okay, knight e5 is easier then.
Yeah, we were considering rook e8 and g3 and knight e5 these options over here.
Yeah, I think everything wins.
So
Here
90.
we saw you taking your time, composing yourself, and then making the moves, playing almost in Nihal style.
Yeah, I'm talking to him every day, so he's influencing me.
I'm not sure that's a good thing for you.
Ah,
King F1, Rook F8,
yeah,
and
so
Rook H2, and now we saw this finish with G3, Queen
yeah,
into G3, Queen into B2, and quickly going through the rest of the game. Rook into C7, King E7, Rook C5, and now the finish with Queen B1 check, Queen E4 check, and most importantly, Rook D5, not blundering checkmate here, like I did.
oh, you did, yeah, okay.
Yeah, Rook D5, Rook into D5, Queen into D5, and now just Queen E6 check. And White
Yeah.
had to resign because he loses his
Queen
queen.
d5 also very precise. We actually didn't notice it. We were looking at knight d5 only, and then we were like, oh, queen d5. I mean, after you played it, we realized, oh, the idea was to come rook g8 and win the queen. Yeah, very precise game actually, Raunak. And the Armageddon has started. Wow.
Yep, it has
Fantastic.
just begun. Vishy with the black pieces, 7 minutes against 15. This is going to be very tense.
Yeah,
Raunak, do you want to stay with us till the Armageddon is
sure.
going on? Thank you. Thank you. So we'll have Raunak's views as well. That's fantastic.
Ponkratov plays this knight b to h3 g4 lines. He might do
Okay.
that. Okay, he goes d4.
Knight bid, where? How?
No, like
D3.
Italian d3 without castling he plays in bleeds at least.
Ah, okay. But here he
Similar
goes
to
for
what
a.
Mamedov did against Nihal yesterday.
Bishop e2 line. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, instead of going bishop to b5. So this, I guess, one of the aims is to just ensure that he evades black's concrete preparation going into some of these forcing draw lines
Yeah,
in
bishop
the
b5.
main
I
line.
have played some forced draws, so he probably was scared of that line.
Right. Bishop
Yeah.
e6.
Bishop e6.
Bishop
And
e3 should be played.
bishop e3 and
He goes
f6.
knight a4.
Oh no, this I don't like at all. f6, of course.
Yeah, f6.
Do you see Ponkrato trying to brutally flag Vishy right from the beginning? Do you think that would be a strategy, or
That
do you
would be
think he
my
would?
strategy, but I don't know about him.
But it can be a bit dangerous, no? Losing sense of the position, trying to play too fast, focusing on opponent's clock. Wouldn't it be
I do
better to
this like
just
every game in rapid championships. Like the format is tricky, so you have to try to flag it.
right?
Okay, rook
Queen
c1.
h8 on the board. He goes out from that diagonal. I think he also made a square for his bishop, right?
Yeah.
Like what was, yeah, maybe he want, like he can go bishop g8 at some point. I don't understand this move very well, but
But as long as he's playing fast, I think we are
Yeah.
not too worried. The
yeah,
position is quite comfortable at the moment. So time
a3
is
is
the
a good
biggest
puzzle
factor.
axis. Like he wants to go rook c1 now.
he's taken fe5 and now knight d6, ab, and pawn into pawn is more likely. Oh, knight
No, he
into
goes for knight takes, yeah. Meanwhile, chat, do smash the like button. Let's get it past 250 for the Armageddon so more people can tune in and cheer for Vishy, which we really need with the time situation and the Armageddon. Knight
knight
d6 played.
c6. So now
Yeah.
knight c6 is possible, right?
Then he wants just bc6. Not a big fan of black's
Okay.
position.
Yeah, rook c1 and the c pawn is under attack, no?
Yeah, he'll go, I think, knight c4.
Mm-hmm.
This is his
Yeah,
plan.
but I think Black's position is under control for the moment. It's solid and not anything to worry about just yet. So let's just trust Vishy with his knights, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what are White's options here? Like, I don't see many ideas for White. Rook c1 is the other option to leave the knight on e5, directly play rook c1.
But then you can take on e5 and even go knight f4, knight c4 if you want to just.
Right.
Yeah, I guess maybe maybe one way to play is rook c1. Sorry, knight c6, bc6, and can you play some b3 here?
Yeah, b3 is important. You should prevent knight c4.
Yeah,
But in
and
Armageddon, I would
then
still be okay playing this with black. Somehow.
So there was there has been a communication to us that actually Vishy was aware of all the rules about the Armageddon, and he knowingly bid 7 minutes. So it was a strategy by him that he wants to take black in this Armageddon, and that's why he bid for such a low time, knowing that he might win the bid.
It's a bit like poker. Yeah, you have to anticipate what your opponent is thinking. Like he could have bid for 10 minutes and got 3 extra minutes.
Yeah.
But 7 just seals the deal. Like there is no way anyone else is bidding for 7 minutes.
True, but in that case, like let's say you bid for 10, your opponent bids for 9 with White. I think you should be able to win. Yeah, being Vishy.
Yeah, true. I think it was just not having enough data because we are still very much into new territory in the Armageddon bidding. And initially, when something new comes, people try all kinds of different things.
Yeah, this is why I was following all the matches yesterday at night just to have some experience. Okay, bishop e4 now and knight f5.
Yeah, this feels very harmonious for black.
So
I didn't like White's f4.
Yeah, I would just go queen e8 here without thinking at all. Even if it's bad, I don't care.
Oh, he played knight e5. I also like knight e7 actually. Knight e7, knight f5 was the other maneuver.
Yeah, black looks comfortable, but okay, maybe you can go c6 here.
But now the knight on a5 is fully out, no? He's going to come to
at
c4
one
at some
point. Black will go knight c4 and
he went knight c4 directly. He goes for it directly.
Very much.
Yeah, very much going into fortress mode. He's quite the opposite of Magnus when it comes to believes in fortress.
Yeah. c6, the problem was probably b3, so that's what he avoided.
Yeah, once b3 comes, it can get very.
The knight is totally dead on a5. That's what b3 controls.
It's very solid, but you don't want to do this, yeah.
Yep.
I like knight c4 actually. I mean, you have gone into the match with a clear strategy that you want to make a draw. You might as well go for it.
Knight
yeah, and Pavel goes rook d1, which feels like a terrible move because in the end, this bishop on e4 is just superior to this bishop.
I would have taken knight e3, I feel.
Yeah, I would also take a knight e3.
Maybe he wants b5 now? But I don't know.
Can you even
I think he didn't.
Like, you don't need to. He's gone b5. Okay.
He wants queen a5 next, I'm pretty sure.
Or queen b6. Queen b6 would be an epic blunder. Knight d7. Queen a5 is.
No, still, I don't mind giving this exchange for this knight, actually.
Yeah, understandable.
In blitz, especially in classical, not sure, but okay, the time lead is going down, but it's still quite a lot.
Actually,
it's still quite massive.
Doesn't have any concrete ideas. Yeah, g4 was literally the only idea on the board.
Queen a5, I'm predicting. I don't know.
Queen a5, I guess queen h3.
Yeah, exactly. But then maybe he'll go b4, create counterplay himself.
I was thinking queen h4, no? Queen h4. You don't like, Raunak?
I
Oh,
want to
queen.
create something on the queen side. That's the
Okay.
thing.
Okay. So you don't care what white is doing on the king side and you wanted to just open up the queen side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you go bishop c2 knight e4 or no? Maybe just let it be like this. Yeah. Okay, he does.
He's heard you. He's heard you.
No, because there is a concrete idea like rook e1, knight e4, and then you have knight d2 maybe. Knight c d2, but
Knight c
Forcing
d2 is very
the
responsible. No,
bishop.
after bishop d2, knight d2, he has bishop d3.
no. Knight g6.
He
Yeah,
also.
directly knight g6. Yeah.
Oh,
I was
okay.
thinking after queen g2 it's possible maybe, but you don't have to do that. So okay.
Yeah, he goes
King.
queen h3, which is a
Now
very
king
blitz move.
Yeah.
king g8 now. Just
Yeah,
get
I
out
should
of the
play
game.
it. Yeah, without thinking. I feel king g.
Well, he's thinking, but he played king g8 after 16 seconds.
What does white want? Maybe I don't feel
b3,
comfortable with white actually already.
then knight d2. This is your point, yeah? Now knight d2. But you have to watch out for
Oh,
some.
Okay,
yeah.
bar agrees
Yeah,
anyway.
Bishop d3 is always dangerous, I think.
But bishop d3, bishop.
yeah. But now it just takes the rook, and you don't even have a discard check.
Yeah, even let's say if you had to go knight e4, you didn't have a choice. Still, the a3 pawn is always hanging, so it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah. So he just goes queen g2 here. As white, you just want to keep making moves and make black think. Yeah, you don't really need to do a lot.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Now see, I don't like queen h3. Yeah, like king on h8 could have given some more tricks. Yeah, if it was on h8. Now on g8, it's more ideal.
Right.
But you're threatening bishop c4 now. So where does that bishop go? Bishop b3.
Goes to
I mean, I like
b3.
it so much more on e4, you know.
Like knight cd2 was possible or not, I don't know. Or knight, yeah, I don't know. It's too
It
many
wasn't
pieces.
possible.
Yeah, too many pieces are hanging. Why?
Yeah. Just bishop d3 now. No, not bishop d3. Maybe just not even bishop into d2. There's something
Yeah.
else here.
You have to
Sorry?
find.
No, I thought bishop b5 was possible, but it's not.
Not easy to find, like the bar says, but
Yeah, not easy to find.
yeah, I don't see anything. Yeah.
Some bishop d1.
Bishop d1 looks
But bishop
attractive.
d1, bishop d1, that's it's such big advantage. And
Yeah.
bishop d2 will play.
I also don't understand why. Oh, sorry.
Bishop d2. And bishop b3, and maybe his point is you go f5 and the
Bishop b4. This is what we have been missing.
Oh, we were missing bishop b4.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, this makes sense now. Yeah.
So bishop b3 happened in the game. Rook f3, knight into e5 taken by Vishy instantly. D into e5.
Bishop c4. Yeah, black is very comfortable.
Yeah, finally that bishop, you know, it was dancing around c2, b3. I mean, finally it has a home on c4.
Not
Vishy
really.
starts with queen c5 check.
Okay.
So he's allowing bishop e3.
Bishop e3, I think he's
So he
intending
wants to do
d4.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought it was.
No, bishop c4, he's not forced to exchange. That's the problem. Bishop d1 is possible in some cases.
Right. That's what he goes for. Vishy would have loved to get his bishop to d5 here, but he just didn't get the time. And with bishop d1, d4 isn't possible because of rook into e4. So
Yeah. There was a nice trick, like if you go bishop f1, if you badly wanted to exchange, he could have taken rook f1, queen c1, rook e4, rook f1.
Oh, nice.
So b4.
and the queen is lost. So b4 was forced because white was threatening b3 in this position.
Yeah.
And now f5 played. f5 b into a3.
This is such a Ponkratov kind of position.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the time deficit is not much. Yeah, now white has 550 and black has 2.30. It's okay, it's manageable, no?
I think it's very significant. With
Yeah.
more worrying is that black has only like less than 150 seconds, and the position is quite complex. It doesn't play by itself, and Vishy is not someone who's used to playing online with such less time, so that also will not kick in, and I feel that it's a worrying situation for black, for Vishy.
Now even objectively, it's getting really dangerous, very concrete.
Yeah, now there's mating attack incoming, g6, queen h3. But what if hg6 now?
At g6, do we take fg and allow rook f3, but then knight f2? Yeah, knight f2 is a
Yeah,
very
that
strong
should be.
Rook g1 is also possible.
He has to do something like this, but feels a bit
But
reckless to. He has taken b into a3, by the way, f6 on the board, and h5 played by Vishy. This is getting very tense, very, very tense. f7 and rook f5 is game over.
Yeah.
Oh God, what happened
Rook
there?
f5.
F5.
Yeah, queen
Yeah,
h3.
knight
Queen
f2 check is
h3.
not kicking in.
Or even queen h3 actually.
Yeah.
Queen h3.
Yeah. King is too
Vishy is
exposed.
not happy. None of us are happy.
Yeah.
Oh no. This slipped out of black's control suddenly.
Yeah, this was the problem. Yeah, like not even having half time of the clock, opponent's clock.
Yeah, it was just too much pressure, and the fact that this was being online, not Vishy's home turf. Uh, it's a very unfamiliar environment when you have like less than 2 minutes,
Even
less than 1 minute.
OTP, this situation, like when you don't even have half of your opponent's time, it's tough.
True, but in online,
Much
anxiety kicks in so much when you're not used to it, which is something the modern generation, I think, almost wouldn't know because you were last unfamiliar in scrambles like 5 years ago. And with that, it's a win for Pavel Pancratov, who advances and will play against Nodebek in the next stage. This is a pity.
No, Deribek will be very happy actually.
Indeed, indeed. This is such a pity. Vishy played so well through the match. He was dominating in the first game, had such a massive advantage. He was better in the third game, and he won the fourth game so convincingly. And I think he was a stronger player throughout, clearly stronger player. Uh, I'm not sure about this decision to opt for 7 minutes. I think that's where he got under a lot of pressure.
Yeah,
but
it's probably a blunder of the board.
Off the board blunder to go for 7 minutes and be under pressure from the very first move.
Even let's say me or Nihal or Arjun, we would also be very scared to have this much time against any opponent, even if he's not playing online.
Yeah, except I think it's Nihal's natural habitat. It starts after 5 moves.
Yeah.
But
yeah, but that's the point. Yeah, this was a completely unfamiliar environment, as you put it, and lack of, knowledge about what works, what doesn't. You tend to experiment, and sometimes things go away, sometimes things don't. Like for example, the position after knight c4, we were feeling quite good about it from black.
Yeah.
We were seeing all kinds of tactics work for black, and then suddenly the position just slipped out of control. So
yeah, his position was quite good. It's such a disappointment because I was actually really looking forward to Vishy against Raunak in the third round, which would have happened, which could have happened, but not this time.
Yes, definitely. And we all are Vishy Anand fans here. So definitely as a fan also, it's disappointing to see him lose. But uh, we, I mean, what can you do? There are always surprises. Chess is full of surprises, as they say.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Pity, but
But okay,
not much words.
yeah, it's very, very unfortunate end, but we still got a chance to see the legend play in a online tournament after a really big gap, and very interesting match for sure. And full credit to Ponkratov for keeping his cool and winning the match. To win against Anand must be very special for him, just like it is very special for Raunak to win against Topalov. To win against these legends is definitely a milestone in your career. Uh,
Sure.
Congratulations, Ronak. Fantastic game, and we wish you the best going into round two. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for joining us today and sharing your sharing your uh, sharing your views on your game, and also the games were brilliant. We had a lot of fun following it. And thank you to chat.
Absolutely. Sorry to interject, Soumya, but again, big congratulations to Raunak. I didn't say it at the beginning, but yeah, a big congratulations and beautiful games. And I have to really say that your games are a treat to watch, especially when you play aggressively with black and just go for mate against your opponents. Topalo did this a lot in times when you're not even born, but today doing it against Topalo. Big congratulations.
Thank you.
We wish you the best going forward, Ronak. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to the chat for staying with us. We will see you tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. Bye bye. Have a great night.
And do join us for the Arjun Paravian match tomorrow.